You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys. How are we doing? Happy Monday morning. I'm actually sitting across here in the beautiful Brian's Law Maintenance Launchpreneur Academy Studios, because that's pretty much all we got.
Our daughter's nursery.
In our daughter's nursery. Don't give away the secrets. We're in our official studio. It's okay to be jealous once in a while. Like, I'm not envious. I'm just like, not like jealous, but like, I'm excited, but also a little jealous. Like the Kid Contractor Podcast Studio, is that like the coolest thing ever? Shout out to Kayla and Brittany Allman. They just had their first ever in-person live training. Is that what they're calling it? Like the live trainings?
Yeah, Hardscape Academy in person.
Live training. They just had the first...
I'm sure there's a name for it. A specific title. But
sorry, Kayla and Brittany. But congratulations to them, because when we were out of town last week in Utah, they had their first in-person live training. Yep. Was it over the weekend or during the week? I don't even know.
It wrapped up yesterday.
Yeah, it was a couple of days. It was like a 3-day event. So any which way, shout out to the Kayla and Brittany Allman. They have their hardscaping live trainings. Shh. I'm going to mute your mic already.
I don't know what date it is.
It is it's Saturday. It's Saturday. So we're recording this 2 days before it drops. So we just got back from our trip in Utah. But anyway, hold on. Before listen, shout out to Kayla and Brittany Allman, because they just did their first hardscape. They just spent like the last 12, 18 months building this beautiful shop. And they finally had this huge dream come true.
I know.
Why are you making fun of me while I'm not.
I sent them flowers.
Congratulations. The soft touch that the ladies offer.
I love when somebody like in the group chat was just like, thanks for the flowers or whatever. And Brian's like, what?
I don't even know. Guys don't do that. I'm not like,
that's why we're a good team.
I'm not sending Jeremiah Jennings like a bouquet of flowers because. A bouquet. What is it called? A bouquet?
Equip. Bouquet.
Utah. I saw a guy's shirt at the airport. It said YOOTAH. Like Utah.
I think that's because of BYU.
Oh, is that a school? What's
Brigham Young University?
What are you talking about right now? What is that? Is that
BYU,
a real school?
It's like a big school in Utah.
I thought it was like Bowling Green University. What is BYU?
I just told
Bingham?
you. Brigham Young.
How do you know these things?
Because I like learning about Mormons. I don't know.
Is that a Mormon school?
I mean, not technically, I don't think, but it is.
I don't even.
Utah.
Dude, there's so many questions that everybody has right now on the show. Somebody right now is plowing snow at 3 o'clock in the morning listening to this and going, who is Birmingham Young?
Brigham Young?
Birmingham Young? That's not good.
Brigham Young.
Brigham Young? Somebody tag us on the thing. If you go to BYU.
It's a big school. If you
go there right now, tag me. The first person to tag me on IG, on Instagram, at Brian's Law Maintenance, I will send you a hat. We got a bunch of hats laying around all the time of like different brands.
I'm supposed to call them Mormons. I call them Mormons.
What are they called? Well, LDS. But if you go, or if you're a Mormon, tag me and
that's a derogatory term. I just told you.
I mean, I've mispronounced Chile.
I forgot about that.
I've mispronounced the Irans, and we were talking about that on the last show.
You said Africa.
Africa. If I haven't got to you yet, hang tight. You're in the hot seat coming in next. It's almost like listening to the show. You might like somebody's gonna swing at you. You never know. You're just driving down the road, minding your own business. I like this guy. I like his resources, and then bam, I just offend you. It's like check yourself in for. Have you been personally injured, victimized by Brian's Law Maintenance? If not, we will get you eventually. Actually, send me some more DMs of people or things you want me to talk about, and I'll weigh in on current events, and then I'll really put my foot in my mouth. That's how Joe Rogan goes viral, by the way. Like, he'll do a 3-hour podcast with like Post Malone, and then like halfway through, he'll be like, "So, what do you think about the January 6th, riots or whatever, right?" Mm-hmm. And then that's what they do. The JRE clips is how they pull all those like 60-second excerpts.
Something sensational.
Yeah. So like the whole Post Malone, like, or whoever, right, episode will get 3.5 million downloads in like the first day or two. Mm-hmm. But like the JRE clips, just from like that 60-second soundbite, the current event, like it has nothing to do with the whole Post Malone show, but you got to bring something to like entice them to come on in.
Yeah.
But like that JRE clip, it will get like 1 million views in like the same day.
Is this your new tactic?
So that is a strategy for content. Like, it's called long form, then short form, then shorts, right? But we only do long format content. I don't have enough bandwidth to like create short form content barely.
Are you saying we're not smart?
No, not at all. We were not very effective with our social media. People give us a lot of credit, but at the same point, I'm like, dude, we are like...
Could be doing a lot more.
We could do a lot more, a lot better.
Always.
But like that's the thing too. Like we talk about a lot of like relevant things on the podcast because it is funny. Like I love creating evergreen content so somebody could stumble upon this 5 years from now. Mm-hmm. But at the same point, I do like talking about practical current events. Also, I'm not really like anybody that should be probably like giving their two cents about current events because I don't know shit about Ukraine.
Most of the
I don't know
people
shit
that
about...
Reagan, though, aren't any more qualified than you.
It's true. Yeah, like what is Post Malone?
I literally don't give two flying birds about what Post Malone thinks about January.
That's true. That is true. So maybe now if we had our own studio and we had a video podcast, which I tried that for a couple, 3 or 4 episodes and a couple intermittent ones too with some great people like Troy Clogg and Jeff Joyner, and they all bombed. I mean, like video podcasting for me just kind of bombed, and so I'm like.
I don't think that's what your channel is like established at.
No, I'd love to create like if
you did a Fullerton Unfiltered like Instagram
channel,
yeah,
or Instagram,
I think that would be fine.
Yeah, that is something I'd love to reapproach or whatever you want to call it. Once we have like the barn or the house and we have a studio setting, like the Kid Contractor podcast. I think they're going to try to do video podcasting, which would be awesome.
They should. Have you seen their podcast studio? It's beautiful.
Oh, I know. Who's the? Is it Zach Galifianakis, the guy from the Hangover movies, the big bearded guy? But he has like the Between Two Ferns. You ever see any of those episodes? No. Dude, it's so wild. My Instagram feed versus your Instagram feed.
It's so different.
We're going to do a podcast.
We keep talking about how we're going to compare, like do like a podcast or a video or something, just comparing like how different our
for real.
For You page.
Like my 10 things are like helicopters, guns, cars, houses, hot girl, which I never click on that crap. Then it's like guns.
The algorithm only gives you what you look at.
No, it's true. You're right. You get more of the same thing, but it entices you so much to try to click on that stuff to get you to see more of it, which is really, really strange. So you can try to like bait me all you want right now talking about that.
I didn't bring it up.
Yours, by the way, is expensive thing after expensive thing.
No, it's not. It's all mom stuff. It's all like make you cry stuff.
Yeah, then luxury good.
That's literally why I just don't scroll because it's just...
No. That we're totally both trying to get away from scrolling on Instagram in 2023 because you just go down the rabbit hole and 3 to 5 minutes later or 20 minutes later, you're still stuck on the stupid gram. But anyway, to go back to the top, if we were able to do a video...
Is that the topic of this podcast?
No, we're going to talk about our Utah trip.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what the topic is. We don't... Very rarely do I have topics on the podcast if y'all have been listening in.
Wow.
Once in a while on a solo show, I'll write down a couple notes, some relevant...
No, I hear your shows, especially when you're like, hey, babe, this is like a really good one. You should listen to this when it comes out. I'll listen to those and like, this is not the podcast that I do with you in the nursery. These could be 2 different podcasts, like shows, like the...
Well, but that's the thing. I like getting you on the show because like we talk about practical things, relevant things.
It's been a while, I think, since we did like a actual hard hitting episode together.
No, yeah, I think the last one we did was the good, that, bad,
I'm just here for comedic relief.
Yeah, well, no, not at all. I mean, you are funny, no doubt about it. Once in a while, sometimes you get a good zinger in. I'll give you that. But the point of this show. I want to talk about our Utah trip, talking about how we have to like unplug a little bit. That was kind of the only idea I really wanted to roll. It's the only thing I wanted to roll with because we're about to roll into the spring rush.
Yeah.
But before we do, like you and I really take winter as a great opportunity to unplug and recharge. I mean, would you agree? I mean, that's what we've been trying to do.
I think you wouldn't make it.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, I mean, in many things in nature, take the winter off to grow, to catch its breath.
Yeah, I saw a thing on social media, go figure, about, I don't remember if it was a video or like something written. I don't remember. But I was talking about how if like you're not feeling like the new year, new me, well, like it like kind of physiologically doesn't make sense to have a restructuring or like not necessarily restructuring, but like a whole like new year beginning in the middle of a dead winter. Like spring is for renewal. Like spring is for new growth. Like spring, and I was
True.
like, kind of like, yeah.
You know, it's funny. Like if I was going to set, like New Year's new goals or whatever you want to call it, like
you can't really act on anything in the business. I mean, you can, but like physically, you cannot work in business until spring.
Last week's episode, I did 3 podcasts talking about leadership, talking about taxes, and then talking about things you can do to get your business going during the winter season over the next 6-8 weeks before you launch. We had the most downloads in a 7-day window in last week's show than I think we ever had, other than like prime spring summer rush.
Wow.
For real, like that's how much those 3 topics helped you guys out. So like the Monday show was all about leadership, hiring people, finding good people. The second one was all about taxes. A lot of people gave me a lot of great feedback, like thumbs up, fire, yo, that was cool. Lamont Harrison's texting me like, dude, that was ridiculous. Brian Biaga was texting me. He's like, dude, that was a good show. Because I got so pissed at the end. I literally started just cussing things out. I was, dude, I was so mad. I like just thinking out loud. I get so, it's the one topic.
I can visibly see you getting angry.
I know. It's the one topic when we start, dude, you start writing checks for 5s, 10s, 20s, 30s, 50s, 80,000s quarterly. And you're just like, what is going on in this country? Dude, if you make $1 million and they like everybody knows you make $1 million, they take half. And like you say that and you're like, yeah, I get it. But like until you start,
until you write that check,
we're not that level. But once you like start writing 20s on your quarterlies or 10s on your quarterlies or 30s on your or 50s on your quarterlies, dude, like it, people are like, I support this. I'm like, dude, until you start writing checks like that, I guarantee you will stop supporting things like that don't matter. It just blows my mind. So anyway, I got so fired up on that show on Wednesday. I had to re-record an outro because I just, I just like hit the record button and hit the stop, and I was so mad. So if you didn't listen last week Wednesday, I had to re-record.
I'm gonna listen to it because we were on vacation.
Yeah. No, it's true. So I had to record like another minute and a half, like trying to like land the plane because I didn't have an outro. I just was so bad. I came out and you're like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, I'm just done.
Oh, I do remember.
That was the Wednesday.
Yeah,
because it just gets me so mad that like
take a shower.
Because like nothing, it doesn't make sense in this country what's going on right now. This is a JRE clip. This is the excerpt, right? Because it just makes me so. This is like the unfiltered part of the show where it's just literally bull crap. It's so bull crap. Like, and then okay, so practical real time. Like Biden had a bunch of classified documents in his garage. Here's your JRE clip. But they impeached Trump like about this stuff because of his Mar-a-Lago. They raided the former president's home. It's never been done ever in a political party in America. One party raiding the other party's home. Not even 3 to 6 months later, Biden's got the same thing going on in his garage right now. Do you know about this?
No, I completely unplugged. Like I literally only touch my phone to like upload a reel once a day. That was it. That's all I did on my phone this whole week. So what happened?
When I went to upload my reel, same thing. First thing that popped up was Newsmax or I think it was just Ben Shapiro, or the Daily Wire. Because I get a lot of my stuff like the morning show. What's the morning wire? So yeah, dude. So Joe Biden had like a bunch of classified documents in his garage, like his with his Corvette. Whatever, cool Stingray, but like they're just like a bunch of like boxes of like classified documents, not secured, classified, quote unquote top secret. So like
are we surprised?
But that's the thing, like,
and it's fine.
But it's one side, of course. This is the politic rant, which some people like when I talk politics. Some people don't. I don't really care. It's my show. If you don't like it, change the channel. But at the end of the day, like, how can one party say one thing and like accuse the other side, and then of course 3 to 6 months later, it's usually projecting from one party that's what the other side was doing the whole time themselves.
I've seen it happen.
It's ridiculous. But like that's when I talk to taxes, like this is what my money's going to. There's going to be a $3 million lawsuit investigation that I got to pay for because some numbskull, left either side left them in their safe or in their garage, and I, as a taxpayer, have to pay $3 million of litigation from the federal government. Like to this is like where your money's going. It's not always to like Tomahawk cruise missiles and shit. It's like to stupid stuff like this, dude. It's and of course the government takes in billions and billions and billions of dollars. You won't even miss it. But like that could be going to a lot of good productive things all the time. Or one, just leave it in the hands of the people that are paying it in, of course. But number two, if you are going to collect it, send it to something good. $100 billion to freaking Ukraine. Oh, we're pennies on the dollar to dismantle Russia so we don't have to fight that fight. Dude, like, still not my problem. Like, any which way. So we went to Utah. Beautiful time. Amazing trip. That's called a hard pivot.
It's time for a commercial break.
That's time for a commercial break with Cujo Yardware.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to be next to that.
Anyway, hey, by the way, really quick, just got off the horn today with Cornell, and Cornell was asking him to also talk to Cedric with Power Moves Podcast. We're hopefully trying to buy some ads for Launchpreneur Academy on their show. Guys, go check out Power Moves Podcast. Jeremiah Jennings will talk to him. Go check out Jeremiah's show. Trying to buy some more ads on his show. One, to just get the word out about Launchpreneur Academy, the contracts, the profitability calculator, a bunch of stuff coming down the pike. Number two, I just genuinely believe in what those guys are doing. They have such a different perspective, a different angle, different regions of the country, different financial backgrounds, age backgrounds, right? Different business age, if you will, and backgrounds. So trying to support Jeremiah's show. And not that these guys need it. They have their own, great stuff going on as well. But, I want to sponsor some stuff. Like we always say back in the day, nobody sponsored anything that we did. Nobody gave us anything. Nobody provided anything. I knocked on everybody's doors, built my own crap. And not that these guys aren't building their own things too, of course. But And then all I did was get roasted for 2.5, 3.
You sell out.
You sell out this while we're helping people make millions of dollars with all these resources, contracts, courses, all this other mess. And I'm like, it's not like a cash grab. I'm like, if you don't like something, just call me, email me, we'll refund it. We've had like probably less than a 1% refund rate. I don't know probably less than 1/10 of a 1% refund rate. Not that stuff is like so stellar, but if there's a general concern, some guy bought a coaching call 2 years ago, never redeemed it. Emailed me, said, hey, I'm actually out of the industry.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah, so he's like, hey, I don't even want my money back. I just want to let you know, like, don't worry about the call. And I said, dude, I'd be more than happy to refund it.
Yeah.
He goes, dude, you have a kid, a wife. I don't want to take money out of your pocket. Refund me half, and I'm cool with that. And I looked at the thing. I refunded him $85 because it was $179 2 years ago for the call. Today it's $249, and I refunded him $85. Like, I would have given him the $160, $150, and I rounded up. And so it's never a cash grab, but the impact that it's making on people, the Launchpreneur Academy website, if you guys need contracts, long contracts.
Like if you come to LAL and you didn't think it was worth your time, we would refund your ticket.
I will 100. We're never trying to like make a buck and just try to like run or weasel somebody out of their hard-earned money. We've never been like that. We'll never be like that. But that being said, now we're starting to make a couple bucks with Launchpreneur Academy because people are just finding so much value in the courses and the resources that out of the abundance, I'm able to reinvest into other people's shows because it costs money. It costs time.
Well, it's time. It's time. It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. More time than people will ever really realize for anybody who hosts a podcast. And I know it's the cool thing to do and the trendy thing to do. We'll see where they're at in 5-10 years from now and whether they're still mainstream or bigger than, other content platforms. But anyway, Andrew Martinez, we were able to also support him as well. I think we're going to be buying like another dozen podcast episodes or shows for Andrew Martinez with Lawn Care Talk podcasts, which is really, really cool. So any which way, like if you guys haven't checked out those guys' show, of course, Paul's show and Caleb Wellman, I always find a ton of value in all of those guys' shows. Check them out. But anyway, I don't know how we got on that rant, but we're going to be talking about our Utah trip. So that's going to be a lot of fun here as we talk about what we've been doing this last week because we wanted to unplug. So let's do this real quick. I'm going to get a quick sip of water. We're going to hit a quick commercial break, and we're going to talk about our Utah trip, talking about unplugging before we go down the crazy rabbit hole, which is the spring rush. Hang tight.
Lawns, landscaping, and outdoor awesomeness, that's what your business does best. Managing your vehicles and optimizing efficiency with the latest technology is what we do best. GPS Track It provides a 24/7 view of where your company vehicles are and how efficiently they're operating, saving you time and money. With more than 12,000 customers, GPS Track It has delivered peace of mind for lawn and landscaping companies for 20 years. Ready to protect your vehicles and save money? Talk with one of our fleet advisors. There's no pressure, no hassles. Call 833-385-0252 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to learn more. Those details are in the show notes. GPS Track It.
All right, guys. Well, we are back from the commercial break, and Liz and I oh my God, if you guys want to plug into Marriage Monday with Jeremiah Jennings' podcast and his wife Savannah, dude, like we just had like a 90-second quick tiff before I went on commercial break because you're pissing me off doing something, and I'm like, why are you doing that? And not about what you're sharing, but it's like, dude, it's just so wild.
No,
like,
I'm gonna share it.
No. Do you want to embarrass yourself? I'm trying to protect the innocent or the guilty. So, but it's just like, dude, like by the way, together in the trade.com. That's our marriage conference. We go. We don't. We speak.
That's why we host it.
That's why we host it. Our marriage is solid. Blink if you're told. We really do have a good. I think we have a good marriage.
I think some people look at me like, what's wrong with you both?
Listen, really quick, because we're going to talk about the Utah trip, but
yes. Eventually, how many minutes are we in?
I know, right? Dude, 19 minutes. What did we talk about?
I don't know.
There's so many JR clips. There's so many JRE clips right now. We should call them like B and F or no B and L clips, something like that. We should get like a. Would you guys like to see
B and F?
Brian Fullerton.
I don't have a name.
Joe Rogan Experience. So these would be. Oh my God, these would be called FU clips.
What? Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Well, now you have to do it.
I'm locked up.
There's so many things I can say right now.
We need to redo this.
No, we're going with this.
Can you imagine this being videoed?
That's why we don't do it.
Dude, half the time I'm recording this thing in my boxers. You know what I'm saying? I'm a businessman. Dude, so what were we just talking about?
Utah trip.
I know, but we were talking about something that just now before that. It was so powerful.
Together in the train.
Oh yeah, so we have 70 some tickets sold there's only 124 because remember we said we need to end on an even number
because it's a couples.
It's a couples conference. We should have said it 120. Like that's how you know things are planned out strategically, but.
Yeah.
We said 124 tickets and then one single guy, which might be Paul. But hopefully, Paul's, I think, goal in 23 is to land a girl. So we've talked about that on a different podcast before. Let's not rehash that. But the togetherandtrades.com, if you guys haven't got your tickets yet, I know we were at 70 2 weeks ago. So we're probably still creeping up an extra couple per week that's signing up and coming out to, is it Bozeman, Montana or Big Sky?
You fly into Bozeman, drive into Big Sky.
Okay, that's what it is. So anyway, let's talk about the Utah trip for just a couple minutes because it is something that I don't want to be like, hey, here's our cool trip that we went on. But what I did want to talk about for just a minute was like the unplugging nature that we find a lot of value in. And
yeah.
This is a note that we took out of, I don't have an agenda here. I don't have like a topic. I just want to talk about it for a little bit because it was a really fun trip that you spent a lot of logistical time planning. So before we go down that whole rabbit hole.
We had an itinerary.
Yeah, you did a great job.
I'm not naturally a detailed person, so.
We have totally shifted in the last 10 years.
You used to be the detailed person. I don't know what happened. You just stopped and I had to pick up the slack.
Josh Latimer messed me up 5 years ago. He said there's people out there that are dumber than you that already have what you want. Mm-hmm. And he elaborated, but long story short, he's like, you're trying too hard. And I'm like, I'm trying too hard. I'm analyzing too many things. I was talking.
Brian travels with a sewing kit and his travel.
Why would you add that in here?
Because it was because I used it. Well, that's how detailed. That's how detailed you are, like, or used to be.
Yeah, like if I was, she's like, why would you have this? I'm like, if I ever traveled for a business event or a button up, button front shirt and a button fell off, I had every exact detail plan, like serial killer.
That's like the Brian I met. Yeah.
And it's wild because nowadays I'm like, send it. If it's under 500, don't bother me. If it's 1,000, just call me.
Like, I broke you.
Dude. No, it's just like life moves too fast to be so detailed.
You're still detailed about
I do
things that matter.
I do.
But you've loosened it way up.
About 80, 90% of the things I'm pretty chill about. Mm-hmm. My brother, he's like trying to buy a Tesla right now because I got a great incentive going on and all this mess. And he's like, he's building Brandon Bull and all this mess. And I'm like, they're texting us like, dude, 100 paragraphs about buying a car.
It's been going on since yesterday.
For 3 days now. 2 days now.
2 days now.
Deliberating. And I'm like, just buy the damn car. Who cares?
It's causing you more mental anguish.
Like, go back to building Brandon Bull. And Sarah, go back to working your job. Like focus on income producing, I'm like, income producing activities and all these things. And they're just like,
just make a decision. Make it right.
Yeah. I'm like,
make
a decision. And they're just like, what does that mean? And we're like, we don't know. But anyway, this all stemmed from Greg Woodstock talking about how when I met Greg a couple years ago, he planned his vacation time first and then put business around it. And I've heard many people say like, have said stuff like that. Like Stephen Covey, he's like, put in the big rocks first and the pebbles and the sand. And that's how you get them all in the jar. But if you just start with the sand, then the pebbles, the rock will never fit in. Like one of those deals, right? And so anyway, it is such a plague. It's such a bad habit. It's such a thing that we all do. Being self-employed, by the way, not just lawn landscapers, right? Because anybody who's self-employed, from real estate to travel nurse to whatever, they all do it. The money's so good that you never want to take time off of your business.
And there's always something else you could be doing.
Always.
It just never ends.
Always. And it's such a thing that if you're ever listening to my content, I want you guys to know it is okay to take a day off. It's okay to take a week off. We'll help you get your money right so that you can start making more money and work less hard. Like, that's the message. It's real, authentic lawn care. That's my message for 2023. I want you guys to make enough money so you can start having some margin. Like, that's a great message. And we will show you how to do that with all of our content, from the podcast to the training courses, to the resources, to the YouTube channel. And so my point is, so many people that are self-employed I was in this for a decade, maybe 11 years. I never took time off. And people all the time.
And we were proud about it. Like, it was a season badge of honor. Yeah.
And we had to, because we had to get the rocket to altitude, the airplane to altitude, all that mess. But there's so many people that are like, I can't make a quit because that week it's always something. That week is something. Then I can't make LAL because that week is something, and that something gets your goat every time. It's cleanups, it's pruning. I got to do sprinkler winterizations. I got a patio to install. There's $1,000, $5,000, and there's people that give me excuses all the time about why they can't prioritize work or events because of work. But then even more catastrophic and concerning is family time. Mm-hmm. And I was in that trap for a long time, like out of necessity, like you were just talking about. The minute we started finally having some margin in terms of profitability, I didn't just immediately jump ship to start getting family time. I went into overdrive, to then actually get our money more right. Once I realized that we get our pricing right, then I paid off all of our debt as quickly as possible. It took about 2.5 years, 3 years. Then I started realizing with that extra profit margin, hey, we can keep working our guts out, or I could downshift a little bit, spend more time with family, which has really been my priority the last maybe 18 months. 6 months maybe before Emmy was born. Mm-hmm. And then Emmy is about 18 months now, so this last 2 years. And so any which way, I want to talk about just, dude, opening up, having a little bit of margin. Like, it's okay to like plan a family trip, plan a family vacation, get out of Dodge. Like, I'm just kind of ranting here, but what do you think? Like, most people don't spend any time with their family, and it's just not a healthy.
It was easy when it was just
approach,
because we were both in agreement of like,
well, let's work hard.
This is what we're doing. This is our game plan.
We had a hustle phase.
We had goals and a game plan to achieve them. So when it was like, oh, I'm, for like a whole year, I don't know how many trips you went on, Brian. It was like your trip every week.
In 2019.
Was it 2019?
Yeah, I flew like 14 times
in like 3 months, not even.
It was like, I would say 90-day window.
Yeah.
It sounded cool.
It sounded cool. And it was really
cool.
freaking cool. I was really proud of you for that. But we have a baby now. Like, we have another one on the way. It's just different. And it's not because like, oh, your day-to-day life changes. Although it does, you just realize how important that time is with your family. Like I say it all the time, that whatever activity that we're doing, whatever, plane trip he's going on or thing that we're committing to, like Together in the Trades, has to be worth more than whatever that time I'm going to exchange, because that time with my daughter is the currency that I'm paying to be able to do these things. It's no longer the monetary value that's attached to it. It's whatever is Together in the Trades meaningful enough for me as a person that I feel like I'm okay with paying for the stuff I have to do to create that event with time with my child.
That's heavy. That's good.
So it's just a different perspective now. So it doesn't mean that it's bad. We love Together in the Trades. Obviously, it means enough to us that we are willing to pay that price. But you have to like structure it in, and it's different. Like the way we look at everything is just so different. So when we do have things like, we ran really hard. I know the last podcast I was on, I was like, we didn't do anything this year. And they were like, holy crap, we actually did a whole lot this year. And it, you have to plan stuff in, because things like this whole past year where we thought we didn't do anything, thinking we didn't do a lot, we did probably more than 90% of people out there.
Sure.
So, but without things planned in, like this Utah trip, it's so easy to get away from us. So this is like
work would steamroll everything. And so it's a hard line stop. Like, this is what we're doing. Yeah. It doesn't matter if snow comes. I don't care what's going on. Like, and the first time we did this was last year as a family, and the Utah trip was so pivotal for us. I think Emmy was maybe 4 or 5 months old. Yeah.
We don't ski. Like, we're going, like, this was like more kind of like a very random place for us to pick, but it was away from everything.
Right.
It was a different time zone. We didn't have cell phone reception all the time.
Right.
Like, and that's why we'd like to take cruises, honestly, is because we don't want to pay for the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, people are like, oh, cruises or whatever. I'm like, yeah, well, and a lot of the cruises, until more recently, like even Delta is like, hey, I think free Wi-Fi on all their flights now. Like,
no, I don't want the Wi-Fi. I don't want the option.
We don't even want
Take it away from me.
We're not we're not, throw the phones in a Ziploc bag and put them somewhere.
Put it in the safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I don't know.
Well, okay. First off, I love what you said, where when you're single, all you're really on the scale, right, of balance, like, do I want to go do a mulch job and make $500 profit on a $1,200 job, or go hang out with my buddies? Or, it's really easy to just go like, you know what, my friends, I can go hang out with them a different day. I'm gonna go make $1,200. Mm-hmm. Then when you have a spouse, whether you're dating, engaged, married, the whole deal, it's like, hey, do I want to go leave my spouse for 5, 8? Of course, they're doing probably their career job or business, and they're working their 8 hours, 10 hours a day. So you're right. Like, you're kind of still juggling both. But like when you have kids, it really does change a lot of things because you want to be present, obviously. I mean, if you're any like
and it's not to say like you shouldn't
being.
do anything of worthiness or anything because you have a kid. Like those are also the reasons why you do those things. Like I think the almonds are a great example of this. They put together this massive it was a huge undertaking, you guys, for them to put together this headquarters
shop,
and their kids got to see their parents to accomplish this huge goal
for a season. Yeah.
Did it take time away from their kids? Yes, but did it also like
provide a future?
Yeah, like
more opportunity.
When just for the kids to have a front row seat to watch their parents actually freaking do something in life.
Yeah,
like that's worth. I'd say that's worth it, even if it took some late nights away from bedtime stories with the kids, whatever that price was
for a year. Nothing crazy, it's a long time, but it's also not a long time.
And what are the almonds doing now? We're heading to Destin with them in 3 weeks because it's a pendulum. You take time away from family, you got to equally spend it.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the podcast in a nutshell here is if you haven't took a trip, go take a trip now. But we couldn't for a long time, to be honest. Like we were just reinvesting every single thing we could. And there's going to be a season of that. It's a suck phase. Caleb talks about it being like a 3 to 5 year window. It took me 11, 12 years almost. We just had to dial in a couple things and we really started unlocking a lot of potential with our business.
And getting the momentum.
For sure.
That's always the hardest part is just getting the momentum.
And so many people are going through that right now. They have been for the last year or two. I know I'm doing so many coaching calls with people, talking to people. I think I got 4 or 5 calls on Thursday, which is awesome. So it's one of those things where 2 years ago, after I met Greg and I saw his calendar laid out, and by the way, he was at LAL last 2 months ago, and he showed a photo of it, talking about like, he's like, I got 31 days of whatever, I'm over here, 7 days here.
He had his whole year planned.
Yeah, he's like, I got 270 work days, 100 of them are this, 31 of that, 18 are this.
Are allocated for these things, yeah.
Yeah, family work. I'm in Chicago, which is where Aquascape is, like 81 days. I'm in Utah where he lives, 131 days. Dude, it was like...
It was so cool.
Like 5, 6, 7 different color codes. And I learned that from him a couple years ago. And I was reading some different things at the time, like the one thing and balance and counterbalance, all this mess. And so anyway, we not to go down this whole rabbit hole of the trip, because we don't want to give you guys every detail because who cares? But to us, it was a super important trip that we decided to establish when Emmy was about 4 or 5 months, because at Christmas, I think we talked about this on our other show. We talked about the want, wear, read, need. So we've kind of downgraded Christmas in terms of the gift kind of crap, because dude, we're 30, we have enough crap. We don't want to just flood our kids with crap.
Our kids will have more than enough stuff as it is.
Dude, Emmy and then the next baby, they're already...
They're set. They're good.
They're already set. Thank God. They're just blessed. And so are your guys' kids, obviously. And so we don't want to give them a bunch of crap. We want to do trips. So we made this annual tradition now to go to Park City, Utah.
Eventually, when the kids are older, the plan is to do it over New Year's so that they stay out of trouble during New Year's too.
That's a great way to keep them off the streets.
Right now, it's obviously not an issue, and it's much cheaper to not travel.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, if you guys know, if you've ever tried to book anything during Christmas week, flights to hotels to Airbnbs, everything is double the price.
Yeah, it's insane.
I was gonna say triple, but it's at least double, because I remember the room rates were I was like, there's no way, even if we could afford it, I wouldn't. And the St. Regis, the Silver Baron Lodge is where we stayed. All these different hotels, we were looking dude, the Holiday Inn's $500 a night during that week. Of course, at that location.
Yeah.
If you're in Timbuktu, it's probably the same rate, but rural Indiana, it's probably not that big of a deal. But when you go to any place that's a place, everything was double or triple the cost. So what we decided to do was downgrade the stupid Christmas gift giving thing, keep the reason for the season in mind instead.
And we do the 4 gifts we have. It makes it more meaningful because there's a lot of thought put into.
Yeah, because you're gonna get 4 chances to hit a home run.
Yeah.
How did I do?
You did amazing.
I did it, but I got you 6 gifts.
But I do think you went over the limit.
Well, you didn't set a price limit, so that was your fault.
No, but there was a gift limit, and you got 3 items per category.
No, I got 2, 1, 2, 2. You know what I'm saying? But you know why? Because you're a gift person.
I am gifts.
So I wanted to bless you abundantly. And so that's what I did. And I got you some really cool shit. By the way, did you know that you could spend $100 on a candle? I did not know. That was ridiculous. I bought you $100 candle. At Soho? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's just so awesome. It just might not ever get lit.
It will not. It will not ever kill it. It'll get lit on a 10-year.
Without just like walking past
we will just leave the lid open. I'm just going to smell it. I've never bought it. I was like, you got to be ridiculous to buy a $100 candle. But I also didn't know what else to get. I was like, this is a really good candle. And really good reviews. But I'm like, I'm on this website. I'm like, the robes are like hundreds of dollars. The candles are hundreds of dollars. Like charcuterie boards are hundreds. I'm like, who spends money like this? All right, you want to go to the other side of the conversation really quick to Utah? The Stein Eriksen.
Oh, okay. So where we stay in Utah,
dude,
it's nice, but it's not the nice. Like you can spend as much as you want in this area, and
we are not on certain pay grades.
So we stay,
to say the least,
above Park City in Deer Valley.
Give them the lay of the land first. So you fly into Utah.
So you fly into Salt Lake, and then you drive to Park City. We chose to change it up this year, and we drove to Sundance actually, and stayed a night at Sundance upon Greg Woodstock's recommendation.
So I called Greg a couple weeks before because we had a bonus day before, right? Because the airlines have been really fickle lately, so we've been trying to fly in a day early.
Yeah, just in case we miss a flight or who knows.
Yeah, anymore. I mean Southwest issue. They had like 16,000 flights or 13,000 flights canceled, whatever. Anyway. I called Greg. I said, hey, I said, you live in Utah, right? He goes, I live in Park City. I went,
no way.
I was like, oh, no way. So any which way, I was like, hey, what should we do? It's always cool to have like your local tour guide, not a travel agent, right? So the tour guide thing. And so he's like, you got to go here, do this, do that. I'm like, Greg, like I'm poor compared to you. Like dumb it down. Like, is there a good McDonald's around town? So anyway, we went to talk about the trip, but Greg gave some suggestions, which was
Sundance.
Yes.
Which is really cool. It's this guy that we'd never had heard of before, but apparently is like
Robert
a famous
Redford.
movie star.
We had no idea.
Bought this land and has like protected it, and
you know, many people just really, literally almost rolled their car because their eyes just rolled that heavy. Like you don't know who Robert Redford is. I'm like, was he in Baywatch? Like I don't know.
I think he's in like cowboy movies.
I have no idea. Little House on the Prairie.
So he bought this land, and it used to be a place where like a refuge for him and his friends to go to in the mountains, and a way for him to protect the land, which is really cool.
Totally slumming it.
Yeah, very so slumming it. And now, of course, there's like the video festival or the movie festival, all the stuff that's come about around it. There's like arts and stuff there. And recently, I think like 2 years ago, maybe, he actually turned it over to like
a booking agency, like a Marriott, or whoever.
And so they've opened it up more and have done a couple different things, but are still preserving the land, which is awesome. And it is so cool. You get like a little lodge cabin thing. We were really unprepared because like we kind of just went, okay, Greg went to this place, so let's book it. And that was about the extent of my research, because I had researched everything else to do with the trip.
Sundance was cool, but he suggested the restaurant.
The restaurant there.
Specifically.
Yeah. And I was like, well, if we're going to go there, it's, driving 45 minutes. We might as well stay there because I don't want to drive another 45 minutes, like whatever. So that's just how it worked out. It was really cool, but we got out of the car. And then it had to get driven to our cabin thing. And it's not like you just walk up to the front door. Like they had shoveled the path. The snow's high as my shoulders. And the guy who drove us has to carry our bags. It was the most bizarre. I got out of the car. I wasn't paying attention because I was paying attention to Emmy. Yeah. And Brian's like, okay, we gotta get in this car. I'm like, what do you mean? Where are you taking me? It was the weirdest transition.
But up the mountain, it was only 75 feet away, 100 feet away.
Mm-hmm. But to get there because of all the snow.
But to get there, you had to take the road. A quarter mile.
It was just where the location was. But it was that was probably one of the coolest places I've ever stayed.
It was really cool. If you guys ever get a chance to go to Sundance, check it out.
It wasn't even all that expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a couple $100 a night, but it wasn't
$300 something maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't anything.
No, that's
insane. And the property itself is really cool. You can take pottery classes, jewelry making classes. I wanted to so bad, but Dad Brian woke up before we went to bed the night that we were staying there. Brian's like, hey, so there's a lot of snow coming.
Okay, so long story short.
So we have to leave by this time because there's going to be this many inches by this time. And then when we get there to Park City, there's snow starting at this time. And he had this whole logistical thing and I was like, so you're saying we can't make a candle tomorrow?
I was like, I'm going to kill you. I was like, I'm not going to die off the side of a mountain because if you guys have never been, okay, we had never been until last year, obviously. We don't know what we don't know. So we put ourselves in these uncomfortable positions by choice, by design. We're not gurus. I'm just telling you, this is how I'm going to do life. I'm going to I call it Forrest got my way to the finish line. So we're just trying to bumper bowl through life, but we put ourselves in awkward places, awkward positions, talking on stage, and volunteering at Equip to do Energize. I'm not here to go talk in front of 350 people.
It's funny because you do it so much that people think this is what you are naturally inclined to do, but you're not. This is a concentrated effort to put yourself in these situations that make you uncomfortable.
Now we just laugh at the ridiculousness of everything that we're doing, right? And it's like it is literally by design. So that being said, we're at Sundance, and dude, the 24 inches of snow or whatever it was coming in the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was like 20 plus inches.
We have to drive through like a canyon on the side of a mountain. And it's not that we have never driven in snow. Right. Because we're from Michigan. Obviously, we get snow.
That was my point.
But
you haven't seen snow like this.
There's snow like this was so much different because, first of all, you're on the side of a freaking mountain.
Bro, you're at 7,000 elevation. If you've never been,
and they're windy and twisty. And then all of a sudden, like, the road's there, but then nothing's next to it. And I'm not okay with that. Not even like on a sunny day.
one lady at a gift shop literally told us
at Sundance was like,
she goes, if you see deer, hit the deer.
You should plow right through them.
And I go, what? She goes, and she's Chinese. She was super nice. And she's like, if you see, it was choppy English, but she's like, if you see deer, you hit deer.
She was like adamant because I'm pregnant. We had our daughter, Emmy with us, who's 17 months old. And she was like, oh gosh, you guys.
I was like, what? Like, it's just choppy English. So it's very bold. And I'm like,
she was very concerned for us, though.
And she goes, yeah, because we were traveling at night. And she, if we were traveling at night.
If we were leaving when we were supposed to be leaving.
Yeah. So she was like, she goes, I hit deer, last year, a couple years ago. She goes, I hit deer. And she goes, left side, oncoming traffic, right side, mountain.
Drop off because cliff. She knows the area.
She goes, so
it's dark if you don't know the area and it's just dark. There's no lights down there. You don't know that that's just sheer drop.
Yeah. And she goes, nobody will ever find you. And so this is like choppy Chinese English. And I'm like,
I'm gonna die.
Like, well, thanks, lady. She goes, you hit deer. I go, I ain't hit no deer.
I guess. In my rental car.
Cool. Yeah. Which, by the way, quick side note, you let me rent an Audi Q8.
Yes. So
super cool car.
That was like Brian's thing with so we do take like homework for these trips because there is a lot of logistics, especially when traveling with kids. I do a lot of the like day-to-day stuff, but Brian does a lot of like the safety stuff. So like I said, this is where we're going to be. This is where we're going. We're stopping here and here. We need a car. And he was like, okay, got it. And he found like the best car with like the best snow rating with like and it just happened to be an Audi Q8. And I'm like, okay, sure.
It's a really cool car. Almonds turned us on to the Turo app, obviously the opulence of the almonds, living like the 1%.
Living there, yeah.
So they were like, hey, you got to use the Turo app. And I'm like, I don't know. See, that's how you know that you don't know, because I didn't know what the hell that is until I heard them talking about it. So it's always nice hearing how the 1% live, how the other side lives. So they're like,
with their fancy podcast studio.
I know. I was like, dude, we're slumming here. We have nothing. You guys are like, oh, I want to be like Fullerton. I'm like, dude, I want to be like other people. I want to be like you guys. It just never ends. It's just how life is. And but it's funny because I was like, hey, can I rent? So we were looking at a certain car. What did we book first? We booked a. Oh crap! But the guy canceled my reservation.
No, he didn't cancel it. He goes, "Oh, I see you've reserved this car. Just want to let you know it may or may not be there." Yeah, okay, well then I can't have that reservation. And he's like, well then you're going to have to contact Turo. No, dude. No, that's not.
Dude, so there's these like Turo slumlords, you know what I mean? That they have like 1 car, 10 cars, 20 cars. And there's a lot of people that rent cars. Anyway, that's how we got on the Turo thing with the almonds. So I was like going to rent maybe like a BMW X5 or something like that. Or maybe a Tahoe or I don't even remember what we landed on. But literally the guy in the message on the Turo app is like, please contact me 48 hours to confirm car availability. And we will get you set up.
No.
And I was like, no, dude,
if I understand.
If I rented a Tahoe, I get a Tahoe. And he was like, can I guarantee cars in stock? Whatever. I'm like, do you not understand how this app works? Like, this is not how this works.
Can you imagine renting booking a hotel room and they're like, cool, call us 48 hours just to make sure that your room's here.
Or anything in life.
And you're like, flying in, my flight's not refundable. So
I was like,
no.
What are you talking about?
That's not at all how this is going to work, dude.
No, and of course, this guy like rented out like of the 30 cars available in the area.
He had all of the cars.
He had 15 of them, literally. And then another guy had about 10 or 12 of them. Mm-hmm. So literally this kind of sounds pretentious, but also stupid. Like out of just what I had left, there was like an Audi Q. By the way, they're all in this area. I've said this before on other podcasts. They're all Porsches. They're all Cadillac Escalades, beautiful Tahoe Premiers, or it's like a Toyota, 4Runner or Tundra, because you get your Subarus. But like out of necessity, it's just like a luxury area. Park City is a wealthier area. Like it's just a wealthy town. We didn't see any busted ass cars, like, with 3 different rims and 3 different color.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful area. So when I'm looking at like what cars are available, other than like renting a Hyundai, which was not going to happen because you're in the mountains. You have
and I was so glad. Okay, so when we left Sundance, we left early.
Yeah.
Beat the snow and everything. That night in Park City, I had made reservations for us to go up in the mountain. So we stay, Park City is, higher elevation than Salt Lake. And then
by significant.
Deer Valley is like slightly higher than that.
Yeah.
Like the actual Deer Valley. And so that's where we stay. But where we stay is like the base of where you ski off of. So you can go up higher like twice, if that makes sense.
You can go another mile or 2 up the road.
Yeah.
Up the mountain.
And so I had reservations up there because I wanted, I thought it'd be so fun to do fondue. And they had fondue. And I was just like, that just sounds like a fun experience.
What's that called, by the way? In case anybody ever wants to go.
I'm not going to say it right. It's like Goldner Hirsch.
Goldner Hirsch or something.
Yeah. And it's not like a restaurant that's known for fondue or anything. It's just they had it on the menu. And I was like, oh, this will be cool. They had it for both like regular like appetizer and then also for dessert. So I'm like, we're gonna get both. And then snow came.
So we left Sundance that Monday. We rented this beautiful dark blue Audi Q8. It was like 60, 70, 80, $100 a day. It was actually pretty reasonable.
It wasn't that crazy.
It's nothing crazy
compared to even like Enterprise cars. Like it
was cheaper than Enterprise by $300 to $500. That's why we did the Turo thing. Anyway, beautiful car. I would highly encourage you guys, if you never like rented a Turo, like, dude, if you ever wanted to drive like a Tesla or dude, you can rent a car for $50 to $100 a day. And of course you can do that with Enterprise, but like it's usually more reasonable with the Turo app. So
we have more of a variety.
For sure. For sure. Because Enterprise had like nothing but just Tahoes. And I was like, well, I want a Tahoe, but they had like a $350 something stupid fee, which made me totally turned off. And so I went to the Turo app. Anyway, the Monday morning we're driving to Salt Lake. Not Salt Lake, Deer Valley.
From Sundance.
Yeah, from Sundance.
Which is Provo, basically.
We left at about 11 or 12. We got to Deer Valley by about noon. The snow had already started. And so I think did we check in and then go up the mountain?
We did. So we checked in. We could check in around noon.
Okay. So then when we were going to go up the mountain, it's about 2 miles of road. It's only another 1,000 elevation feet.
Yeah. It was like an 11-minute drive. Like it didn't seem like it'd be that far.
No. It was maybe a mile or 2.
Yeah.
But the snow had started and they were getting 12 plus fresh inches of snow. About 2 to 3 inches had started. 2 to 3 inches on a freaking mountain, folks,
is completely different.
It's so
what we're used to here.
It's indescribable. Okay.
Well, the sign, there's like you know how they have the construction LED signs that have different messages. You can change them. They set one up at the base of this drive to go up the side of the freaking mountain, saying it said 4x4 chains only. And Brian was like, "Well, it's either or," and I was like, "No, I don't think so. I think
I will tell
both.
you that is not an or.
That was not an or."
So we took the Audi, I wanted to get. It was either going to be like a Tahoe, Escalade, Navigator, something big. I wanted 6,000 to 9,000 pounds of steel wrapped around me and my baby. It's no big deal. I would do it. You guys would all do the same thing as well. Audi Q8 with Quattro. I love Quattro. I love Audis. Still want to get an Audi S6 one day or something cool like that, or an R8. That would be super dope. Or the Huracan. Talked about that on a different episode. Still selling Liz on that dream. So we take if the Audi had snow tires, I'm convinced we would have made it up the mountain. 99% chance we had all season tires on there. We're going up the grade is probably 7 to 10, 12%. It's a very, very steep grade, maybe more. I don't know grades, but this is a very significant grade. Okay. Like so stupid. Like we went up there and I'm like, we can make it. And I'm like, look at all these other idiots, right? Coming down the mountain. The idiots coming down were us 3 minutes later.
Yeah.
Because
very quickly we realized this is not happening.
We made a turnaround about halfway up the mountain because it was 3 inches of wet slush snow.
Everybody around us, like the car in front of us is like stopping or sliding back at you.
Dude, it was indescribable. We're talking like barely 2 lanes wide, mountain passes, cliffs on both sides. If you know, you know. And we're trying to go up to the top of the mountain for this cheese fondue.
Like, this is not worth it.
It's not worth it. I was like, Liz, we are mentally morons.
But I was very thankful that you chose the car you did and have like the driving skills. And something I've always said, and this is completely unrelated, and I said this to you on the trip, was I heard growing up, you can tell a lot about how a guy feels about you, about how he drives with you in the car. Whether he cares, it's for your safety, values you, cherishes you. He is not going to drive like a freaking idiot.
Yeah.
And that's how you can tell the difference between like a man and a boy. how you drive with our family in the car. Plus, you've always done this with me too. Like, I've just really I've never been more appreciative of it than being on the side of a mountain.
Me too.
Because you took the conservative route and you were like, yeah, no, we're going home.
If we didn't lose momentum going up the hill because all these stupid Toyota minivans and there's a Chevy, what's the midsize Malibus, the Chevy Malibus or something, like these morons going up in 2-wheel drive cars. Like, you have to know you need a 4-wheel drive car to come up there at least. And now,
as we're turning around, we see like the wreckers coming up.
There's 2 or 3 tow trucks in tow.
Cool.
There's 50 cars, in a line, all snail's pace. We're talking 3 inches of wet snow coming down on a 7, 10, 15 degree grade. I don't even know. Maybe even steeper. I don't even know. Crazy. So we turned around. That was Monday. We came back. I think we went to Park City.
We went to Park City and got pizza. And the snow was so pretty. It looked like you were in a postcard or living in a snow globe. It was absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous.
So we're not going to go through every detail, of course, of the trip. Tuesday was kind of a lazy day. We just kind of chilled around. I think we went back to Park City. Maybe
Tuesday we were supposed to do dog sledding.
Dude, talk about that really quick. We got less than 10 minutes left. We want to wrap up the show in an hour.
So, we can't ski or anything. I'm pregnant. Emmy's too young. Brian's never been before. Like, we're not just going to go.
I've never lived like the 1% skiing. Are you talking about having margin in your life to go by skis?
A lot of people are like, oh, you're going to Park City? You must be skiing. And we're like, no. And they're like, then why are you here?
One lady said that to us.
Because it's like what you do there.
Well, she was very pretentious, like wealthy looking lady.
She's from Connecticut.
Pardon my asking. I'm not trying to be rude, but why are you here?
Why are you even here?
I'm like, and then I look at you and I go, she's not wrong.
There's a whole story about why we chose where we chose. But anyway, so I wanted to get out and do something snow related, but not
like, Liz, there's way easier ways to join the Mile High Club. Like, it's way, I'm just saying.
Not dangerous. And so I was like, oh, dog sledding, which apparently is very similar to skiing in the aspect of you can get hurt. Like, it's like,
maybe not ideal for a pregnant woman.
Not ideal for a
17-month-old.
Yeah. And so I booked this and then made Brian call.
Well, you were embarrassed to cancel.
Because I was like, I don't think I should go on this.
This was 3 weeks out. So it wasn't like we canceled the day off.
No, we booked it and then 2 days later called because I was like, I did some more research. To be fair, we called one place that was completely booked and we're like, do you have any restrictions? I'm pregnant. I have a 17-month-old. And they said no. And so I was like, okay, which is questionable now looking back. And so when I didn't even bother calling the next place I booked because the other place said it was fine.
Right. So I called a guy and it's on speaker and Liz is like, go ahead, go do it. I'm like, I hate you right now. So I have to call these people and be like, hey, like out of curiosity, like if your wife's pregnant 6 months or you have a 17-month-old, like what's your thoughts on that? He goes,
immediately no.
He goes, well, out of an abundance of caution.
And common sense.
And like he wanted to say, and common sense, we would highly suggest not having her go on the trip or your daughter. And I'm like, yeah, no, for sure. He goes, we'll cancel your reservation. And he wasn't like mad, but you can tell he was like, idiot. You guys are idiots. And maybe we are. So like, it's just so funny.
I just thought it would be really cool for Emmy to see the dogs and like.
We go, can you guys do a meet and greet?
Oh yeah. And he goes, like, you can keep the like money if we could just do like a meet and greet with the dogs.
He's like, no, we don't do that. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, we felt like idiots. So Tuesday we didn't have anything planned. We just kind of chilled out. I think we went back to Park City.
Mm-hmm.
We might have got.
We shopped, I think, that day.
We did shop a little bit. I got a couple T-shirts. Cool, KUHL. I'm a cool kid now. I have a bunch of cool shirts.
Ryan tried to buy a $7,000 painting of a bear.
It was $6,500.
Okay.
That bear, it was the coolest damn thing ever. There's this acrylic painting of this bear. It's the most psychedelic, cool looking. Dude,
there's a lot of layers.
There's 20 different places.
It was cool, but I'm not.
I know nothing about art.
I'll paint you a bear.
I'll paint you like a bear. I know nothing about art. There's 20 different art boutiques in Park City because all this new construction. Dude,
just on Main Street.
There's an area like Park City is blowing up like real estate wise. I don't know, call it like new money or just a resurgence of like people checking out the ski, Deer Valley area, but absolutely beautiful. There's so many art galleries. We're going in there. We're not art people, but I'm like, hey, we're gonna have a nice home. We gotta furnish it. I'm just a very logical person. Like rich people have paintings on their wall, so we
don't have like the dimensions of the walls or anything yet. Like this house only exists on paper.
Dude, okay, so there's some really really cool like snowboarding artwork and people snowboarding on the ski mountains, but it's like collages. Just really.
I would love to have like a painting of like Park City or like the mountain or something.
Yeah,
but like in the snow, not not at all.
So
the
I
style
found this
that you
bear.
liked. It was like
this
the psychedelic. I don't know.
Purple
how to
and like
describe it.
blue bear is the coolest thing ever.
It was cool, but
$6,500
it does not match anything.
I was like, put it in my office, and she's like, you don't even have an office. You won't have an office for like 12, 18 months. I'm like, put it somewhere. Put it in the nursery for now.
You have a corner.
It's a cool. I don't even have a corner. I have by the door wall that has 3 inches of snow where maintenance came in and said, "Yep, that's a humdinger."
That's always great when you call maintenance. Like we literally, this is total side tangent. We got some pretty gnarly windy snow in Michigan a week or two ago.
That crazy windstorm.
Yeah, during Christmas.
Yep.
And we come out and
4
our
inches.
doorbell has 4 inches of snow. Inside our house. And this is like a new construction.
This is a mini skis hill
I mean,
on the
this
inside
place
of my
is
doorbell.
3 years old?
Barely. Yeah.
And so we called maintenance and we're like, hey, like.
He goes, yeah, that looks like an issue.
I don't know what to do about this. Like, obviously you need to know about this. This isn't right. We're paying like a stupid amount of money to heat this room because there's obviously like a huge draft. He's like, yeah. I don't know why the office had me come because I
don't do any of this.
I can't do anything about this.
He's like, you need a whole new door wall.
Yeah. And he's like, you can call the office and they give you plastic to put over the window. You know, maybe you could just fix it. Like, not you, but like somebody could fix it. Anyways, that's whole other.
So I don't have a corner. I wish I had a corner.
That's right where Brian's desk is where the snow pile.
It's 65 degrees maybe in that corner. Maybe like 60 some degrees.
You have a little heater.
And then I have a space heater. And then, so anybody, by the way, if you're ever like, I don't have enough whatever to start my YouTube channel, or I don't have enough whatever to like start a podcast, or I don't have enough whatever to start my lawn care business. Dude, we've never had any resources. Ever.
We don't even own our own grass.
Yeah, I have a 185,000 sub YouTube channel. We don't even own grass. We don't even own our own yard. And people are like, why am I taking advice from you? Well, hang tight. Okay, relax. I'll show you what I'm building, okay? Like, it's going to be a nice home on some nice property. We've been putting in our work, okay? But you don't need that. I've never had any. I'm in our nursery right now with a podcast that's in the top 1% of 1%. You know what I mean? Like 95,000 downloads probably by the end of this month. And that's a low month.
This is
the winter
season for us.
And I'm just telling you, like, people are like, oh, I don't have enough studio to like record my Instagram. Who cares? I record half my videos in my truck. Like, you don't need all these things to get started. Just get started. If I would have waited till all the lights turn green to start all of our social media,
get ready,
or our lawn care enterprise, I never had any credit. I never had any cash flow with our lawn care business. We financed everything for 12 years.
We make the decision, we make it right.
It's just wild, and people
that's
are like,
how this trip came about.
People are like, I just can't figure it out. I'm like, you just start. You start with a push mower and a push broom, if that's what you need to. You don't start with the $80,000 trucks and rigs and any of it. Like lawn care, like YouTube. I don't have $1,000 for a camera. Neither did we. Now, we bought
a cell phone.
You have an iPhone 10, 12, 13, 14, whatever they're at today, is more powerful than the Canon T6i that I bought you for Christmas 6 years ago. For sure. You could use an iPhone and get an external microphone. 1,000% better quality. You don't have to spend a dime because you already have your phone. Buy a $30, $50 microphone versus I had to buy a $900 kit just to even get baseline, then a $300 wide angle lens. You can do that with your iPhone 13 or 14. Mm-hmm. So don't give me this, well, I don't have this, or it was so much easier. You don't know. Dude, don't give me any of that. I will wreck you with that because we still don't have anything like that. The Almonds have the kid contractor studio. Other people have like a corner and a shop and neon lights and shit. And I'm like, dude, we don't have any of that. And our content still outperforms everybody. Maybe it's not because of the production quality. Maybe it's because we actually care. We're relatable. And we don't have this.
People don't.
And other people just don't get it. They're like, why don't my numbers grow? I'm like, because you're trying too hard. Like, but I digress. So Tuesday, we
it was like your chill day. We got pizza.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday we went to the ice castles.
Talk about that for like 30 seconds and we'll shift
I don't
gears.
know. They have like pipes with water that freeze and make like this cool castle that they put lights in. It's really, really
Everybody
neat.
knew
I'm not doing it justice.
Everybody knew of it.
It was a really fun experience. They had like you could buy hot chocolate and stuff and
what was the cinnamon sticks?
A churro.
Oh my God.
I got a 16-inch churro.
Shout out to Tino's
I've been so happy.
Tino's Lawn Care. I think he's part of the UAG Echo thing. Tino, if you're listening, bro, and Ricky, they're the two Hispanic guys. They
do they have churros?
Well, they're Hispanic, so
that doesn't mean anything.
Is that like?
I mean, it is. I think like a Mexican street food, but there's so many regions in Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I knew that over Mexico, but in general, I thought that was like a Mexican dish.
I think it is.
Well, anyway,
I don't assume it's everywhere.
Dude, send me so many DMs like making fun of me. I told the GIE Expo Equip story of me and Paul meeting this Hispanic couple. The taco story.
Terrible.
So dude, he sent me a DM 2 days ago because he had tacos.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that's where I got it.
It's so stupid. So he sent me a DM. He always messes with me, like with anytime he's eating tacos and stuff like that. So anyway, Wednesday
we went to the ice castles. That was cool, except for on the drive back.
Hold on, time out. The churro was like 16 inches.
16 inches, yeah. It was beautiful.
It was amazing. It was so good.
It was nice and hot. It was steaming.
I've only, I think, one other time I had a churro at Trades in Nashville. Together in Trades. We call it Trades now. We can't call it Together in Trades because if you guys ever catch on, you guys do the acronym of Together in the Trades.
Just like
you guys, dude. We're not trolling you guys as you listen in, but all my content's a meme. Like the first 3 years I did YouTube, I added the word or the number 69 to all my first 500 videos of YouTube.
You did.
Did I or did I not?
You did.
6 to 9. Every video had 69. We went to the equipment shows. I'm like, is that the 2? Some people picked up on it. 99.9% of people never. Listen, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have fun with it. You guys got to realize, like, I'm not playing like 3D chess, but I'm just not gonna. We're gonna treat it serious, but I'm like, I have to enjoy it. It's got to be fun, and I'm just a little different, okay? But anyway, the churros were so incredibly good.
It was really good. Brian went back through and actually bought Emmy her own, which is of course what every 17-month-old needs.
Because I had half of it. What was the rule? Like anything goes that week. Like spend whatever you want, get whatever you want. So I bought the Audi.
We even took our TV off the wall at home, and Emmy had a field day this week because there was a TV at the condo and it was like unlimited.
Dude, it was like an 81-inch TV. Have you guys ever seen Miss Rachel on an 81-inch TV?
He was like,
she's got good skin. You know what I'm saying? Like she's making. Dude, that chick is making $500,000 a month. She should for a half.
And bless that woman.
Dude, what'd you call her today earlier this morning? Second mom.
Not that we really don't do like screen time at home, but
she did this week.
Miss
Rachel on 81 inches of screen time. Like anyway.
So we did the ice castles. Driving back from the ice castle.
That's what I was going to talk about.
So
they call it Deer Valley.
Deer Valley, obviously.
It's funny that we said the same thing.
It's why it's named Deer Valley is because there's a lot of deer. Go figure.
Yeah.
And so we had that warning from that wise Chinese lady.
Well, hold on. Let me revert because where we're staying, Deer Valley, it's at 6,000, I think, elevation. There's no physical way for the deers to be on that mountain. It's too much
but
snow.
As it gets higher, there's
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where the ice castles was significantly less snow.
No, I don't even know if that's considered Deer Valley.
No, it's 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to cover that because if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But where we were staying at 7,000 elevation, the snow is literally, folks. I had a photo I shared on Instagram with Liz. It was 7 to 9 feet deep. We couldn't build a snowman. We took a snowman kit.
I got a snowman kit for Christmas as one of Emmy's like stocking stuffers, and we couldn't I brought it with us specifically. I got it specifically for this trip because I thought, oh, how fun, we'll have like memories on the snow making the snowman together, except you can't walk in a field of snow because it is up to my shoulder.
Nowhere.
Like there was nowhere I could go to roll a ball in snow.
Not the sidewalk, not the parking spaces, not the
I've never
handicap
seen
stall.
Anything like it.
There's no it blows your mind because right now we've had 3 snow events in Michigan.
We have green grass outside.
Yeah, my boys over in Philly and Pittsburgh, they've had 1 or 2 events similarly. They've had no snow. And it's wild because my guys at Sowers, I was talking Ken and Zach, they have no snow event this year. Which, by the way, we're still making $100,000 doing snow this year if no snow falls. So a lot of people are like, oh, you can't make money in snow. I'm like, we're with our monthly contract. So just take good advice from good people if you guys get into the snow business. I'm not saying we're a good example of it, but I will say, like, I've learned from the Troys and the Corys and many other people, and we built our own hybrid system. By the way, $100,000, I'm not here to impress you. It's pennies, really. But at the end of the day, we'll still make a 40 to 50% margin on that by not doing anything. And I don't want to say not doing anything because we're, of course, on deck and on call. But at the end of the day, like, I had somebody comment, it pissed me off the other day. Somebody commented on Facebook, there's no money in snow. Oh, the margins suck. I'm like, well, the way you do it, like, we're in a very competitive market, and we'll still clean up.
Everybody here does snow. If you're a plumber to an HVAC guy, you gotta.
So don't give me that
truck in the winter. You do snow.
Anyways, block and delete that guy. It's just like I don't have time for stupid comments like that. So anyway, the snow at Deer Valley Park City though. It's a feat.
It feels like what we used to get as kids. Like that's how much snow I remember having as a kid.
I asked a local person. I said, "How much snow do you guys get here?" And they said between 300 and 500 inches, and we're already above average on that.
They've already gotten
300 to 500 inches.
What we've like 3 times as much as what we'll get this whole season probably.
Dude, no, 10 times.
Yeah, it's
we get
insane.
40 to 50 inches. Of course, we got like 7 inches maybe this year. Dude, I was gonna say like. So you know what else has got 7 inches this year? You know what I'm saying? I had to get that in.
I'm so glad.
Anyway, we can probably edit that part out. So anyway,
we're driving home from the ice castles, and
so it's a lower elevation area.
Yes.
And then what happens?
And we watch somebody get smoked by a deer.
Literally.
Because I'm convinced, like I think it's more rare that you actually are the one running into the deer. I think the deer usually jump out at you.
Dude, so shotgun effect, 7 deer run across the road, boom, 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 boom. And these things are going freaking, what would you say, 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour?
I didn't even see them.
They were going so fast, I didn't even know what was happening. It was like a train, like a blur of just deer. And anyway, that Chinese lady said, for real, like at where you go to see the castles, it's Deer Valley. It's like not Deer Valley, but the valley where all the deer are.
There was a couple spots that she like warned us about specifically.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh yeah, sure, of course, whatever.
Like, we're from Michigan, we get deer here all the time. We see deer all the time.
Yeah, so this area is like white. It's more deserty. It's white. It's covered in snow, but the snow wasn't like 7 feet tall. It's like 1, 2, 3 feet of snow. So there's more deer. All the deer come from all over the place into this valley, and so we're like, oh great. Literally, we're driving down. We're going 35 miles an hour through like this winding way before we hit the highway, and 3 cars behind me, 3 cars in front of me. We're going 35 miles an hour through this town area, and boom, 7 deer zip across, and literally one runs into the corner of a car, the front left corner of the car oncoming.
Just explodes.
The deer just launches
goes
6 feet.
Up in the air like
6
out of
feet.
a movie.
Dude, like slow-mo. I'm like, oh my God. Like 30, 50 feet in front of me. Smoke, the headlight goes out, totals the front left corner of this, I don't know, like
quarter panel.
Corolla or something like that. Cavalier, I don't know, like just smokes it, and the deer is dead. I mean, it's just on the ground, and I'm like, I'm
trying to convince myself,
and I'm like,
no, it's just stunned.
I'm like, holy! Remember the Coachella raccoon?
Oh my God!
This deer, not this deer, but the raccoon. We were at this restaurant, and this raccoon. Broad daylight, 3 p.m. in the afternoon. We're going to this restaurant. Well, no, it's probably after church, actually. It
was after church. We go to
Cheryl's Place
in Brighton.
My favorite breakfast place.
Checking out and then where you check out at the cash register is the whole wall of windows into the parking lot, and we see that it's broad daylight, and this raccoon comes wandering out of the out of the forest, and he looks like he's drunk. And this is when the like weird, I don't know, parasite thing was going on at the
zombie
animals.
Raccoons, whatever.
Yeah, and so he's like clearly like.
It's a Michigan thing, probably. People like zombie raccoons, like, for real, like zombie deers.
He's like clearly not okay, and it's during Coachella because
it's Coachella week.
So I'm like, I have a sap.
I think
you're
emotional. You might have had pregnant with Emmy.
I might have been pregnant with Emmy
because you were emotional. You're like, what's going on with the raccoon?
I really love animals. I used to volunteer at the animal shelter. Like it's just. They're innocent, I
know this would be another Joe Rogan. This would be another FU clip.
Well, and then so we watched this raccoon like wander into the middle of the parking lot, and there's nobody around it or anything. It looks up to the sky, and it just like passes out. And I'm like, Brian, the raccoon, and he's like, immediately, because he knows how I am. He's like, no, babe, it's just a Coachella raccoon. He starts making up this like the story about how he had a long night. He's been doing drugs, and like he's just recovering from partying too hard, just so that I don't cry in the middle of this restaurant. We still talk about this poor raccoon who just laid down and died in the middle. It's so terrible. In the middle of this parking lot. He just laid down and gave up the ghost. Like it was so sad. And so now at this point, everybody's looking out the window because they're like listening to Brian like narrate the story about this Coachella raccoon. I'm not even doing this story.
I make up stories like on the fly, and I'm just like, no, dude, babe, he was at Coachella. And
you didn't skip a beat because I'm like, you just like saw my face like crumple.
You're about to cry.
Yeah, it was sad.
I was like, oh my God,
he was this furry little fat raccoon who just was minding his own business
and died and
just literally keeled over.
Like, that's really strange to see a raccoon
on
his
broad
back,
daylight, like starfish style.
This guy just lays down on his back. You've never seen a starfish just like.
I've never
a raccoon
He looks
starfish.
up at the sun and then just like.
He just died. Like he just literally laid over.
Coachella raccoon.
I was like, no, he's just
still
sleeping.
on in our memory.
Rip to the.
Rest in peace,
I was
raccoon.
like, he's just sleeping. He's sleeping off Coachella, and
that was so sad. So then we're talking. So then I'm like, no, Brian, the deer's just stunned.
I'm like, it's not another.
It'll wake up.
It's not Coachella for the deer. That deer was
Brian
DEAD.
didn't even try to make a story up. He's like, no, that thing's dead.
So that was. You want to talk about like driving through the mountains anyway? That Chinese lady, God bless her, freaked us out.
Fear of God into us.
Then we literally see.
Maybe she was an angel.
That's true. 48 hours later, somebody gets smoked. The car was fine.
The people were okay.
The people were okay. I'm like, what just happened? Now I'm like scared to get onto the highway.
Yeah.
To drive 20 more minutes.
We still had, half the drive.
So that was wild. But anyway, ice castles, if you haven't seen them, go check them out. They were beautiful.
They're in different places too. I think there's one in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Like there are a couple different places around the country.
Here, let's button up because Thursday was our final night, right?
No.
What was our final night?
Oh yeah, it was.
I was gonna say, what else did we do? Were you there with me?
I'm still there mentally, apparently.
So many of the days we zipped into Park City, ate at some local eateries. By the way, Flanagan's, thumbs down. That place was just nasty.
I literally, it's
the worst restaurant I've ever had.
It's an Irish pub, and I was like, okay, cool.
Sorry to the Irish people.
Like
that was
fish
an L.
and chips. It's pretty dry, like whatever.
Would you call it the COVID-19 fish?
Because I was sitting there eating it, and I'm like, oh no, I can't taste it. Like I can't taste anything on my plate. Like nothing has any flavor. Like literally, there's no taste to it at all. I'm like squeezing half of a lemon onto this fish, just trying to taste anything.
Couldn't taste anything. And I was like, Brian, like I think I have COVID. I can't taste. And I'm like starting to freak. Like I legit was like starting to panic because I was like, no, we already did this once. We actually got COVID once on a trip, and it was terrible. Mm-hmm. And I gave you a French fry though.
You gave me one of your fries, and I was like, oh no, I can taste the ketchup on this fry. Literally, there was just no flavor in any of the food. I'm not one to complain at restaurants. I worked in restaurants for years.
1 star.
But holy crap.
My burger tasted like crap. You couldn't even taste it. There was no flavor to any of the food. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I thought I had COVID.
So anyway, stay away from the
Flanagan's.
That was an L. But so that was basically every afternoon we went into Park City, just kind of bopped around, shopped a little bit, just bought some t-shirts and some hats.
We honestly hung out a lot at the condo too. Like
we're
surrounded by mountains. It's beautiful. There's a fireplace. Like we're just spending time with Emmy. Like it was. So when people are like, "Why'd you go to the ski area and not ski?" It's like because it's so far removed.
It's isolated. It's fun. It's beautiful.
We went there when Emmy was like 4 or 5 months, and it was the best thing we ever did for like our family unit because there was no safety net for us. There's no grandmas around to help us. It was just us. Like it was. And it's all will always be a special place for us. So that night, I was like a cherry on top of the trip kind of a thing. I wanted to do something kind of fun. It's kind of different, and booked a sleigh ride for us.
Yeah.
And we didn't make it up the mountain for our fondue, so we didn't know it was waiting up there for us,
dude.
Like we went in completely unprepared. You have to meet them at one of the resorts up there because they take you on where like the ski paths are.
Yes,
at the end of the day.
Once the mountains close down for skiing.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, cool. I just picked, there's 2 places you could pick. I just picked one that sounded cool, Stein Eriksen. He's a very famous skier, apparently.
Stein Eriksen. I invite you guys to just Google that, search that now, later, whatever. Just check it out. Like, holy opulence.
So Brian and I, we talked about this briefly, but like we used to do this a lot when we first started dating, when we first got married, when we were really, really broke. We would go into places like, Tiffany's or Chanel, or go to a Mercedes dealer.
We went to Gucci, dude. We went to K Jewelers. That's how so broke we were. Like that was dream building. Like
it was, it was, and because it made us uncomfortable. It made us
to Jared's.
think at a different. I do remember
we went to Jared's.
Yes.
I was like, this is like how the 1% lives.
I do remember this. Not that there's anything wrong with Jared's.
No, but like no, but there's Tiffany's.
Yeah,
we didn't know anything.
We intentionally do this where we put ourselves in situations where it's at the next level. It makes us uncomfortable. And it's honestly been a while
since
like a couple levels
in between here, by the way.
Since I felt so uncomfortable.
I agree.
I pride myself on the work that I've done personally to grow my mindset, to grow my self-confidence, to grow my self-worth, so that when I do walk into places that might be a little bit above my pay grade, I still feel worthy of them. Like there's nothing like wrong with me to be there. I don't know. I've had to do a lot of work on that. But
you should do a podcast on that one day.
We should.
No, you should.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be a good show.
But we walk into this place and I'm like, oh no. No, we didn't even walk in yet. We were just driving up. And
dude, just a drive.
There's all these like international flags, the trees. I don't know if you've ever been somewhere.
Well, before we drove in there, we took a stroll. Talk about the top of the mountain.
Okay.
Right, because that's what we did first.
Yeah, we went up the road that we couldn't get up the couple days prior. And these, you know, you're used to, like, we think of it as like a ski resort town. There's like resorts, hotels, whatever. But these are people's homes that look like resorts. We were looking up at the mountain from where we were staying and we're like, oh wow, I would like to stay at that resort one day. It looks so nice. We get up there, that's somebody's freaking house. Like, holy crap. I literally thought I thought your house was a resort. And what's crazy is these people don't even live there full time. But anyways, we're driving around. There's like a gated community that we can't even get into. Brian normally will try and sneak into them so he can dream build. But I'm so uncomfortable in this area that I was like, no, we can't even try and sneak in this area because there's like guards, like legit guards at the entrances of these like gated communities. And we're just driving around in awe. And Brian's like, where are you taking us?
Dude,
like
the whole time.
Like a fish out of water, right? So we finally drive up to the Stein Eriksen property.
Stein, S-T-E-I-N, because I didn't know how to spell it. Stein Eriksen.
Yeah.
Which I think was a guy, right?
He's an Olympic competitor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we pull up and there's all these international flags. Every tree, like every branch on these trees is just wrapped in
beautiful white lights.
White lights. Like, I've never seen anything like it. They have stuff like that around Park City, but I mean, not a single branch was skipped. Like, it was the most intricate. It was just beautiful. And then we pull up and it's a heated drive. You can tell because the snow's all melted and it's like this turnaround circle. And so you have to roll down the window and the guy approaches the car and he's like, so, you checking in? And we're like,
Monsieur, how are you?
Yeah, he's a support guy. And we're like, no. And we're actually here for the
I'm here for the sleigh ride.
He's like, oh, okay, there's valet around the corner. We're like, oh, okay. Send us peasants to the corner valet instead of the valet in front of the hotel. But
which we thought.
Yeah. But instead, you go like under.
In the parking garage.
And yeah, under the building is like the parking garage. And it's like I don't even know how to describe it. Like, the columns holding up the parking garage are wrapped in copper. They're ceiling tiles. When have you seen like a
ceiling tiles,
finished ceiling in a freaking parking garage? Ever.
For real. There was a finished ceiling in the parking structure. Indescribable.
And it was like meticulous. Like, it was so clean.
I was like, are there ceiling tiles?
Are we inside? Like, it was so weird.
It was bizarre.
In a nice way.
Yeah.
And there's like more international flags everywhere you look. It was, I don't know. And so,
how much was the average night for this hotel, this lodge?
So when we were there, I looked like for the next day immediately. It was for the cheapest. I think it was like $1,500
a night. For the week?
No, just for the night. But I don't know, like, had we booked that earlier if it's cheaper or if it's just the time of year. Like, you could maybe, because what happens is people, so the way they run this, it's not really a hotel, I guess. I don't know. People own the units and then the rental property manages them. And then they can just come and visit when they want. And when they're not there, it's in their like rental arsenal.
Which is how a lot of the area
We're discovering, and well, even up north where you go to Bay Harbor,
people buy a condo, then they rent it out. Kind of Airbnb Verbo, but different.
But with like
in-house.
Yeah.
Through Marriott or whoever.
So anyways, we park the car, the guy gets out. We're like, holy crap. Like, where are we?
Dude.
We walk inside and
60-foot tall lodge. The fireplace was ridiculous, all stone.
You could walk into this fireplace.
Please go Google Stein Eriksen. I don't. Maybe this stuff like is cool to you guys. Maybe it's not. I don't know. If you turned out the podcast a while ago, okay, it is what it is. Like, dude, we're trying to like. Not that we want to like stay here or be like a somebody like that, but it's just nice to see how the other side lives, and we want to make money. We want to be wealthy.
I was still doing okay, like self-image wise at that point. Not that I'm like anybody, but I'm like, oh,
I wasn't
wow,
blown away
like,
yet.
Yeah, this is like a really nice place. Like, oh, like, this is cool. And then we walk in, and I see ladies in like mink fur and like
bags, Hermes,
Montclair, and like I'm just like. Yeah. Oh, this is not where we belong. And then it gets worse as we go up the elevator and it opens up. And instead of like, you know how like a normal lobby, you have like a couple chairs and like, that's kind of it. It's like these mammoth fireplaces and there's service everywhere you sit. Anywhere you go in this whole property, a waitress will come up to you and ask you what she can get for you.
Yeah.
Like I was so uncomfortable. I was like, stop asking me. I'm too poor to be here. I can't buy anything.
Every lady is in black leather legging pants, fur
earmuffs.
Everybody
influencers like everywhere, not the kind that like we're
we are not those people. I will.
No, it was like
punch those people.
It was something else. Like Even the kids.
Louis Vuitton shoes all over. We saw a couple
Louis Vuitton snow boots on your child.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so really quick, you got to tell the funny story. When we're sitting with the other two ladies.
Oh, so we
boots.
So we got there early because I like to get places early that I have never been because I usually like to explore. But now I'm in this place and I'm so ungodly uncomfortable. I just want to find like a dark corner to go and sit in. So we finally find somewhere to like park ourselves with Emmy because we had about 45 minutes to kill. And these ladies are sitting across from us, and they're very nice.
They're pleasant.
They're very nice. They're from New
York.
And so they were like asking us about, where we're from and yada yada. And they're talking about Emmy, and one of them had a 2-year-old, and she asked about Emmy's boots, and like she said that Emmy was in a very trendy outfit or something like that. Being from New York, I don't know. She probably knows what it is.
I just very trendy.
Yeah, she's like, oh, she's so trendy or so on trend. Like, where did you get her boots? And Brian looks at me as the word Target is leaving my mouth, and he could have just died. The ground could have opened up and swallowed him whole, and he would have been perfectly healthy with how embarrassed he was that I just admitted that I got my daughter's boots from Target.
I was like, why?
He's like, you could have said anywhere.
Why'd you say Target?
Why I was like, they were on like the red circle, whatever, like sale too.
And of course I'm laughing too because I'm like, oh my God, we so don't belong here. And you're like, I got it from Target.
And I'm like, oh wow, that's so cute.
Target. She goes, oh, Target. And she goes, they have some great stuff there once in a while. I'm like, why would you say Target? Just lie. Just say something else. Why would you say Target? Of course we're like laughing and like memeing ourselves because you should have been like, and use a coupon. Like, could you imagine? Like,
her head would explode.
These dude, like we don't aspire to be like any of these people. I aspire to be wealthy, but we don't aspire to be like pretentious snob rich. Like these are 50, 100, 250 billionaire, millionaire people. Like these are like, I
mean, a whole different club like that.
This
is
a whole different. I'm like, what?
It was insane. Well, because then we were walking around towards like trying to figure out where we need to go to like meet the sled or whatever, driver. And there's a real estate office. Like to the right.
Totally
and
forgot
so
about that.
Brian just walks in because Brian's bold as a bull.
I'm like, what's going on around here?
He's like, hey, how's it going? And the guy's like, hey, are you buying any real estate today? And Brian's like, no siree.
I go, hell no.
It was like the most awkward. I don't even know how. I don't know if you brought it up or he brought it up. He's like, yeah, real estate around here starts at like $10 million. Are you buying anything today? And Brian's like, no.
Respectfully, he was good at what he did. Mm-hmm. It was just like, a nice 40, 50-year-old guy. He goes, are you immediately in the market to purchase anything around here? I said, no. He goes, okay, cool. Then he knew I was
just have like a real conversation. Yeah. Because he didn't want to waste his time, obviously, either.
Like I'm in sales 24/7. He's in sales 24/7. When you meet a salesperson, just effing be honest with them. Don't waste their time. Like, no, dude, I'm not in the market, but I just want to know, like, what the hell's going on around here?
Yeah.
And
he was really nice.
So he, like, kind of, I wouldn't say dropped the shtick, but, like, I wasn't, like, some second-gen, third-generational 100-millionaire family. He wasn't,
like, popping a bottle of champagne to, like...
No, thank God. Look, because it happens. It happens.
It has happened, yeah.
Like, we've been in some high-end stores and people, like, will BS with you, like those art galleries. If you're in the market, they will wine and dine you, and that's fun. It's cool. When you are buying, it is so much fun to be... wine and dined.
It is. We actually going to buy my first purse and stuff in Chicago. We had like an awesome experience with the sales team. Like it was really great.
But if you're not, don't waste your time.
Don't.
So I told the guy, no. I said, we're not in the market. I said, we're totally just looking around, trying to get the lay of the land. He kind of dropped the shtick. Not that there was a shtick, but you have to talk wealth if you want to sell to wealthy people. There's a different level of there at that place. And that he's used to his regular customer, right? So just for some context. So when he realized we weren't in the market, which is fine. But I said, hey, but we might be one day. I said, what the hell's going on around here? So he showed us this whole like real estate map, the top of the mountain here. How much are the condos again? 3 to 5 million?
At Stein Erickson?
No. Just like in the resort. So the whole top of the mountain, the real estate group, which was Stein Erickson, Realtree, whatever. But they sold.
I think it was even more. I think it was like.
No, the base condos I think were 3 to 5 million. The main houses, those are the condos.
The houses are starting at $10 million. Yeah,
10, 15, 20 plus million. These are, of course, the Utah, like, insane ski mountains.
Like, you can ski in, ski out of your house.
That's what they're called, ski in, ski out. If you know, you know. We don't know.
We don't know.
Some people are like, you guys sound like idiots. We don't know. Dude, I grew up in a double-wide trailer. Liz grew up in Dearborn, Michigan. Like, no money, no influence, no nothing. We don't know. We've never been in a hotel.
It's really hard
that's
to
$1,500 a night.
In these situations because we don't have anybody to, like, go off of. But I'm happy to do it so that my kid doesn't.
I want this to be my new normal for my kids.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not going to give them everything that they never had.
I'm not giving them a $10 million house, but
well, I might, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have goals. What's wrong with having a $3 to $5 million condo on the side? You can get that from your lawn care business. Who says all I have to do is lawn care? I can have 6 or 7 different businesses going.
We've always talked about how like lawn care doesn't need or should be like your end all be all.
No.
It's perfectly good to use it as seed money.
I've talked to 100 times to 100 different people that have a lawn care business that does 6 figures. Then they got into a restaurant business. Then they franchised a Taco Bell or Wendy's or 2 Jimmy John's franchises. Then they have 3 coin car washes. Then they have a motel. That eventually, you know, trade in the 3 green motels or single families for a red hotel, which is like a nice hotel, or a CVS or a Walgreens.
Like Monopoly.
That's how it is. And so if you guys are 20, 30, and you're like, well, I don't, you know, you feel uncomfortable even hearing stuff like this, or you don't do any of this either. I'm not telling you that you have to do any of this kind of stuff because everybody has a different goal. But I just want to put what else is out there? I'm walking around, an effing condo is $3.5 to $5 million. $3.5 million. 3.5 for I go there 2 weeks a year.
They call them the tennies. So they own a $10 million plus property and only use it for 10 days out of the entire season.
And in their garage is a $150,000 autobiography Range Rover or a $450,000 Bentley Bentayga.
Yeah. And we thought last year when we were told about the tennies that it was kind of like a joke.
No.
I mean, the guy was like, no, like that's a real thing. Like half the people you meet.
Yeah.
Like
in this hotel especially.
Yeah.
So when he was like, hey, are you guys immediately in the market? You could just tell. Like we're just loitering.
No, obviously
we literally
me and my Target boots.
I know. We literally picked the cheapest event or experience that we could do. It was a sleigh ride. It was $200.
Yeah.
We're like, oh no. Now look, like we could stay at the hotel if we wanted. We don't. We won't. I don't ever see us ever spending $1,500 a night on
it's just a lot of money to sleep.
Even
somewhere.
if I could, I wouldn't. Yeah. And I say that now. Maybe if I'm worth $50 million, I'll change my mind. We just didn't grow up that way. It's not like we're super like stingy or cheap or don't want to spend money on that. It's just, dude, we'd rather not. Like, you know, there's a certain level of comfortability, I guess, with our income. I don't know. I'll give you guys the 4-1. If I make YouTube millions.
If you ever see us staying at Stein Eriksen.
Yeah, if you see us staying at Stein
you
Eriksen.
know we've made it.
Yeah, for sure. I was telling Liz, I go, we had this conversation, was it a couple weeks ago? I said, at what point in your life can you, or was it on a coaching call with somebody I did? Like, at what point in your life do you justify $3,200 a night? Was that us talking?
It started at like $1,500.
Well, I know, but like for the regular king size rooms with a view.
Yeah.
I think the $1,500 a night was the boiler room.
Right.
But what pay level do you get to make? My rule in life right now is I don't spend it in a day if I don't make it in a day. Right. So I tell Liz, if it's under a G a day, I don't care because I make that in a day. Like I replace it.
Right.
Right. Well,
kind of
make double that. But anyway, or more. I don't even know. But I said, if we don't make it in a day, I don't spend it in a day. So when we were talking about Silverberry Lodge was like $3,200 for the week. It's $750 a day. I'm like, that's fine. We make that in a day. I'll spend it in a day, but I won't over that. So I'm like, if you have to make, $32,000 or $3,200 a day, I'm like, dude, what are you making per year? I don't even know what that math is. Like, my math doesn't math. Is that what you've been saying lately? Was that $1 million a year?
Math doesn't math.
I'm like, maybe I'm not on that pay grade yet because I couldn't justify. Maybe some of you guys listening in, you guys want to go spend $3,200 or $2,500 on a night at a hotel, but damn, son, like that's wild.
Yeah. But like, so
one day,
we leave the real estate office, and it's just like a little in the, it's like not this huge area. It's just like this little room off to the side. And we walk outside to where we're going to be picked up with the sleigh, and I'm almost crying, you guys. Like, I do not remember the last time I was so like fish out of water feeling, and that's what was like upsetting to me.
Oh.
Like I was very proud of myself for like getting past like a lot of that, but like it all came back, and I hate that feeling. I hate feeling like unworthy or like out of place. I think it's bullshit, and I hate it. I hate that feeling. And so like, I'm almost crying. And like Brian's like, oh, this is the best thing ever at this point. And
I'm just a professional dork. I'm like, hey, how much is
like
that?
Completely unbothered.
I'm like, how much is that? Hey, what is that? What are you carrying
I think you were a little bothered at first, and then you were just kind of like, well, I'm here.
I was uncomfortable, but like, well, first off, I'm like, I make more than half these people here, probably more than 80% of them here, even though they're wealthy. We're doing okay. Because there's a bunch of people we met that were there for work.
Yeah, there was like a insurance thing happening. There was a lot of, I
was like, dude, your life sucks. You make $50,000 a year. Like,
so
whatever. They're good people.
We go back to sit down because we figured out where we need to go and everything. So I feel better. Whatever. We go back to sit down where like the New York ladies are again, and they're gone. And another lady comes in and like is putting on her helmet and like her stuff to go back out in the snow. And I was like, oh, she was really nice.
Do you stay here? Do you live here?
Yeah. I was like, oh, good day on the mountain. You know, do you live here? And she goes, yeah, I live here. But not here. Like, she's like, I live in the bottom of the mountain. Like, you know, and I raised my 4 kids here and like all this. And she's like cracking up about just what we're surrounded by, I guess. She probably could tell we were uncomfortable. And so she's trying to make me feel better because she was just calling it out. She's like,
she was like a normal Midwest person. She's like, we grew up in Minnesota and
we ended up here, like just
my husband's job.
Yeah, loved the area to raise a family in, and we just stayed, and then the area changed. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
she said, good school
you're
system.
Like one of us.
Yeah.
And it was just such like, I don't know.
She was laughing. She was totally relatable. She was like us 20 years from now. She's like, no, she goes, I don't have any money like this. These people are ridiculous.
She was just like, my husband and I skied up here today. We came in because it's fun to be here. And we split a burger, if that tells you anything.
Yeah. She goes, we parked at the parking lot.
Yeah.
So there's like the whole level of range of people, obviously. It was really, really funny. But the sleigh ride was pretty cool. We slayed up and down the, that's what you call it, slayed?
Slade, I guess. Yeah.
What's the verb of slade?
So we've never been on like a ski run thing. I don't even know what to call it. A ski run, a ski slope.
We know nothing about skiing. Don't know. The irony.
And so these horses, so it was cool. I did upgrade. I sprung for the private sleigh. So we weren't packed in with like 8 other people.
Living like the 2%ers.
I know.
Almonds were on your tail.
Not quite almond level, but and so the sleigh ride takes you out onto where you ski, and I am just flabbergasted because I don't know what I expected, but there's like no fence or anything to prevent you from going off the mountain.
We are on a damn mountain.
I don't like heights. There's
no like. You guys have to go. Just go to these places.
For people who ski are like, duh, what did you?
We didn't know.
I had no idea that there's just that the path was so close to the edge, I guess.
Well, and then there's all these little like 2-foot tall trees, and you're like, what are all these little 2-foot tall trees? All these little ferns. I go, Liz, that's the
top of the tree.
I go, that's a 30-foot tall tree buried under snow. That was insane.
It was crazy.
And you see like the little spiral of death. Like if you go into those things, you die. Like because you get buried in there.
Because it's not compacted snow.
Yeah. Like and you're like
quicksand.
It's like a 3-foot tall tree, 2-foot tall. I go, no, that's a 30-foot tall tree. And again, maybe you guys know this. I
had no idea.
We didn't grow up.
I had no idea.
We grew up in a double wide trailer push motor, and you know we spent money on this trip. Like sometimes we're trying to be cheap, other times we're like trying to spend money. Like we spent money this week. It felt good. It is what it is. Like we want to have some family time. Mm-hmm. There's 1 or 2 trips a year. I don't say we go all out, but we want to spend money. We're not trying to beat on the cheap or Spirit Airlines it or Holiday Inn it. I'm like, we want to like spend some time and some money and like actually enjoy it, like the fruits of our labor. Like when I'm dying in August because it's 97 degrees out and I'm slinging mulch or
this
cutting
is what
grass,
makes it worth it.
This is like I have to have the yin and the yang, the swing on the pendulum, because if not, I'm like, why is it worth it? Like, and usually like the profit of the season is realized months later. So it's like when we're living the dream in the summer, it's because of our winter efforts, and when we're living the dream in the winter, it's because of our summer efforts, and vice versa or whatever. So we want to spend some money. I'm not justifying it. I want to spend some money. It was so cool being in that environment because the sleigh ride, the private sleigh, you know, which was like, you know, $50 more. Wow.
It was cool because like we were talking to like other families that were there with, because all of our kids are running around like animals.
Yeah.
And
big family activity thing.
Yeah. And so I met a couple of the moms that were really nice, and they were more normal than
so, they were regular.
Yeah.
I'll call them regulars.
Regular people.
Yeah.
And you know, all the sleighs start pulling up, and the horses have jingle bells on them.
Yeah.
And watching all of the kids, like their faces, because they come up like over like a hill. Yeah. And so you don't really see it, but you hear these jingle bells. Ching, 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 and then the horse's head like pops up, and then you see this like sleigh come into view, and the kids lose their minds.
Yes.
It was it was waving and smiling. It was like such a sweet little moment.
She like locks up.
Yeah, she like gets really tense and like excited and starts waving.
She goes, ah!
It was so cute.
Thing.
That was like worth it in itself. And then there's like 2 different kinds of sleighs. There's the sleighs that have like 8 people on them with 2 horses. And then there's the single sleighs that have 1 horse meant for like a couple or like a small family. And I sprung for the small family one. So I'm like talking to this other mom, and then, you know, they were trying to figure out where we need to go. And I was, the guy was like, oh, you're over here. And she's like, oh, you got the private one. I was like, yeah, that's my big balling over here in this place I don't belong.
I didn't even know. I was like, wow. I'm like, we're rich.
It wasn't even much more. They had more kids. I think I don't even think this like
5 or 6 kids.
Yeah, I don't think they could have fit on what we went on.
No.
And then so you get all, set up, the guy helps you on and you meet the horse, Jimmy, and we get the blanket put on us. And I'm like, I think this was for me more than it was for Emmy. I was so excited. And we start going and you see all these views and like all of these lodges and different places to stay where it's like a ski in, ski out thing. And they're just like, there's fires and just like people and like, they're just living life. Like this is their baseline level. Like this is how these people live.
That's their winter home.
And that's their,
like, $10 million. We're there for maybe 2 weeks a year, winter home.
And they have kids with that. Like I was just like, this is such a different.
Their kids are in $1,500 to $5,000 worth of ski gear.
Yeah.
Like the cheap
stuff. Because we went into some of the stores last year and we're like,
Gorshes.
That's how much this costs?
I think it's called Gorshes.
Something. Gorshes. It was a G.
Folks, like, I mean, one podcast I'm screaming, like, let's work hard. The other one I'm like, you got to do better. The other one, you got to be better. And then it's like, but this is why. This is why we do all this stuff. Not to like buy name brand crap. It's just to like have experiences, memories. Like,
and we always do things that stretch us too. Like, even where we go up north in Michigan is a really nice, like very wealthy area outside of our pay grade. And we go there every year to stretch ourselves.
And you know why we do it? To put ourselves in an uncomfortable position because there's more out there that we're all capable of doing. I mean, that's the end of the day. Like, and you don't know what you don't know. And you have to put yourself out there. You have to try a new landscape approach, another patio install, a different creative design. You have to try something different with your social media. You have to try to do something different to keep the romance alive with your spouse. You can't just, hey, you want to go to, the KOA? Life's about an adventure to be lived. I'm not going to make a bunch of money.
I have to believe when you choose to like invest into these situations and these experiences that, we were talking about, whether it's some, ritzy hotel on the side of the mountain for you, or even like up north, we're sitting, I'll never forget, this still burns me up to this day and is a huge motivation for me. Brian and I up north, the lady in the wood boat.
Yeah.
We're sitting at the end of the dock and we're dreaming like there, to put it into context, it's like a bay with like a little marina thing or docks. I don't even know what it's called because I'm freaking poor, you guys. I have no idea what it's called. So don't come at me. And we're just waiting for our, the buzzer to go off at a restaurant. We put our name in. And so we're sitting at the edge of the dock with our legs in the water talking about, we were getting ready to start trying for a family. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about how that was a lifestyle we wanted to give our kids and we can't wait to take them up here and like watch our lifestyle grow. And like, this year we were staying at the Village, like these little rental properties. Next year, we're going to stay at the Inn one day. Mm-hmm. We did that last year. And this lady with her family comes in this wood, I don't know it's like an all wood boat. It's a fancy people boat.
It looks like a James Bond boat.
Yeah. And she comes up at the edge of the dock and she's like, you guys don't belong here. You need to move. These places are for people that, actually live here. Something like that. She went off on us. I'm like, lady, I'm literally like,
we just had our feet over the edge of the dock.
I'm not like in a slip or anything. Like I'm just okay. And then, maybe I was in the wrong place, but like the way that she told me about it was like gutting. And it was the air of, I am better than you. You don't belong here. Like I hated the way it made me feel. I felt like dirt on her shoe. Yeah. And, I still think about that. And I think that's why I got torn up at this Stein Eriksen is because I had that feeling again. Nobody made me feel like that there, but I went back to that like mental space. You know what I mean? And I hate that. Like you guys have to get out of your element and do things and like take time with your family, but like use it to grow yourself too. Like it's not just a vacation. If you choose to invest in yourself and invest in your family and take this time away and, spend the money, if you go into it with like the right mentality, I have to believe that you're going to have experiences that are going to leave you changed. And that's why people talk about travel. And like, you might have a friend that you grew up with who, spent a couple weeks in France and they come back a different person. They stop talking, won't shut up about France. There's reasons. Like, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them or it's silly or stupid. Like they had a life-changing experience.
I mean, my idea is put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. Put yourself out there, get uncomfortable, and then think like, what would I have to do to be able to afford something like this? Whether you want it or not, but it just gets you thinking. People are like, I don't like Grant Cardone. He's a this, he's a that. I'm like, that's fine, that's cool, because his message is 10x. And his message is, if you want to make $1 million, try to aim for 10 million. And if you're making $500,000, aim for 5 million. And maybe you'll just stumble upon, 1.2 million. Instead, you don't hit 5 or 10 million, whatever your goal was, but at least you hit 1.2 million and your goal was 10 million. right? Versus setting your goal for $1 million and then coming up short at 650,000. There's like some element of truth to that, right? Like, okay, maybe you don't want a $3.5 million condo on the edge of a cliff at 7,500 elevation at Deer Valley. But what would you have to do to make $3.5 million? Maybe you don't want to. You're like, I'm comfortable. I got my $250,000 home or $500,000 home. Life is good. Bills are paid, whatever. Dude, that's fine. That's awesome. But for me, it's like, if you have the capacity to do better and to be better, why would you not try? People, like, you can still be comfortable at your $400,000 home and go make $4 million a year. We've talked about this. Like, what's a selfish life? And so I'm just putting myself out there. When you hobnob with people that are worth 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, I guess what's next? 10 figures? Like, because you don't know who's there. There's a lot of people that like some crazy, like, European and Eastern European. And
there's so many.
We don't even know. They don't, French, Italian, European, Russian people that were there. They had all those international flags there because
people come from all over to go and ski where we were at.
Yeah. Like,
and people are like, why are you here? You don't even ski.
And so, like, I'm over there and I'm like, what would I have to do if I wanted to afford a $3.5 million home on the side? Like, it just gets you thinking. It just makes you uncomfortable. And I'm like, dude, of course we cut grass. I cut a lot of grass. We install a lot of mulch. Am I going to go buy a $3.5 million condo exclusively from my lawn and landscape? But I talked about that. I said, dude, no disrespect to Corey Ballard. I hold Corey Ballard up to the most highest esteem. Same thing with Troy. But I said, dude, I wonder if like Troy, like this is blasphemous right now, but like I wonder if Troy, they might say yes. I wonder if Troy or Corey could like buy a home over here. Like how big of a that's what I said. How big of a landscape company do you have to build? I said, I don't think if you build a $20 million company with a 20% profit, making $2 to $4 million a year, 10 to 20% profit. I said, plus you pay taxes on that. I said, I don't even know if you could afford a home over here. No, of course, if they can't afford it, we clearly could. In this example. But I'm saying, if they wanted to take, because Corey wants to take his company Perfect Cut to $50 million, that's why he sold it. And he's still a major equity owner, part of that company, that transition. But he said, if Corey had a $50 million company, he could probably, buy a condo. He could still figure it out if he wanted. Corey's made his money. He's wealthy. Any which way. You guys know what I'm saying? But like, it gets me thinking like.
It was just the conversations that we were having. And that's what we're talking about. It's not like Brian and I want to go buy a condo here. Like maybe we do. I don't know.
Maybe 10 years.
Maybe 10 years. But it's the conversations that you have, the way that you stretch yourself, the way that you get to thinking about like, okay, well, if we did this with the business.
It's a thought exercise.
It really is. And like, it just leads to such a special time. Like,
get your spouse uncomfortable.
I think, a lot of guys always come up to me, at GIE or, Equip. And
they find you for that now. If you don't say it right.
Together in the trades.
What'd you call it?
Nothing.
Equip.
And ask me like, well, how did Brian get you on board? It was through trips like this where we talk about the life we want to live and what we have to do in our business to achieve it. There's no secret. It's not like I'm like, losing my mind over, the fact that we cut grass. I think it's the coolest thing ever. Hell no. I think it's awesome with the life that affords us and the control that it gives us over our life and our future. And it's on trips like this that we have those discussions where, we get on board about certain projects we want to do because
it motivates the snot out of us.
It really, really does, you guys. And then
it can be demotivating too. You got to catch that. And
I was getting demotivated.
You were getting like discouraged.
Yeah.
And I was like, aren't you having fun? You're like, you were about to cry. I'm like, fuck.
I'm like, not really.
I messed this up.
And we go on the sleigh ride and stuff. And, we come back in. Emmy's like starving because I don't know if you guys, I can't believe it's just my kid. I got to believe other people's kids are like this. But it's hard traveling with her now because we'll order something at a restaurant and she doesn't want to eat it.
Right.
And I'm like, this is your shot to eat. This is it. We're not at home. There's no snacks. Like, this is what we got. And she's not eating it. And then we leave the restaurant and she's like,
blows a fit.
Immediately hungry.
She lives on goldfish.
I don't know what to tell you. We gave you the so she did that before the sleigh ride. So we get off the sleigh ride and now she's melting down hungry. Like there's no way that we're gonna make it down into town.
No.
Wait at a restaurant for 30 minutes and then like she's just not gonna make it through that. The only option we have now is to eat at this place that I feel super uncomfortable at.
Dude. Like we're not doing it justice, folks. If you know, you know. If you've been there, you've been there. Some of you guys have. I have a bunch of buddies that I posted like, hey, are you at Deer Valley at Park City at the Silver Bear Lodge? I'm like, how do you know? Because other people have traveled there.
Yeah.
John Henry's was texting me at all times of the night.
Not everybody's a loser like us.
Dude, no shoot, right? But like I always talk about on the podcast. If you guys are listening, maybe you're new, maybe not. I don't know. Welcome if you are. But I always talk about like nobody talks about the middle. Not to go on a whole rant, but like we're not the newest people in business. We've been doing this for a minute. We're not wealthy. We're not Andy Frisella. We're not John Maxwell. We're $50 million. Like, we're just normal freaking people. We're in the middle. Like, we want to be wealthier. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be wealthy or rich. To me, it's just more choices and more options. Everybody says that. That's true. That's what we subscribe to. But we're up there in this restaurant. They have live music. Everybody's hobnobbing.
We learned about Apres. I still don't even know how to say it.
So if you don't know, like, there's breakfast, there's brunch. We talked about this. There's breakfast, there's brunch, there's lunch. Apres, dinner. What do we call it after that?
Before dinner there was apps and drinks.
Oh yeah, I call it appetizers.
Really, what is Apres? I don't know.
No, Apres is like its own thing.
Yeah, like 3.
Because you got to appreciate all your skiing, right?
I think it means after in French, but I could be wrong.
We don't know. That's what we don't know.
I don't know.
There's breakfast. There's
breakfast, brunch, lunch,
Apres.
Yes.
Appetizers is what I called it. Then there's
happy
dinner.
hour.
And then you call it happy hour.
And there's dinner.
Then there's dinner.
And then there's after dinner drinks.
Yep. Then there's dessert.
And
then there's dinner, which is a late dinner. And then there's fourth meal. That's how we grew up, Taco Bell. Then if you're really hardcore, then there's 2 a.m. Denny's. Yeah. That's called the Grand Slam. If you know, you've done the 3 a.m. Denny's. We had a Denny's on Novi Road over here. They shut it down. I don't know why. It was always busy.
Because of a health code violation, probably.
Because the food they prepared was a health code violation? Or you mean the conditions of the restaurant?
All of the above.
At Denny's, I said their slogan should be pay for it once, eat it once, pay for it twice. Eat it once, pay for it twice.
Yeah, with the medical bills that you're going to have.
That's what I'm saying. You have to pay for your dinner to leave, but then you also pay for it 3 hours later because you're in the hurt locker in the bathroom going, why did I make this life choice? The Grand Slam, the eggs over my hammy, it's all sounded great. Eggs over my hammy. I've been there. Listen, folks, we were broke as shit. I got $12 for a
We were there together.
I was like, I got $12 for a what was the not the steak? What's it called? The stuff that we always get, the jerky. There's like a jerky sandwich. Do you remember this?
What?
There's like a jerky sandwich.
Jerky sandwich?
Like a Slim Jim sandwich, I think it was called.
No idea.
There was like a Slim Jim. If people are like, that's right, he's got it. Slim Jim sandwich, all this stuff. Like, I don't know if Slim Jim was a brand. But dude, this is like
a Slim Jim just on
I'm like,
bun.
we were from Denny's to the Stein Erickson. You were like Target. I was like, why did you say that? Why?
So we go up to the
let's button it up. This is almost 2 hours.
We go up to the host stand and she's like, she lets us know that they're switching over menus because they take their Apres and dinner time very seriously.
I was like, but of course.
Like, of course you are. So she's like, I can seat you now, but you can only get drinks until 6. And we're like 10, 15 minutes early. And I was like, okay, that's cool. That's fine. They were really nice to us. They obviously knew.
We were there for dinner, obviously.
Yeah, but they were just nice. Like, they just, I don't know.
They have a level of service.
Yeah,
they cared.
They're really great. They set us right next to a big fire. Like, it was a wood burning fire.
Best seat in the whole
restaurant.
For sure.
People came in wanting to sit where we were sitting.
So you could tell the hostess stand was like, people kept looking at us like, is that table available?
Yeah.
I'm like, you can get out of here.
It was really nice.
I'm like, I've earned this. Like, I don't care if you're a Russian oligarch.
By now, I'm like,
go away.
By now, I'm feeling better. We had our sleigh ride. I'm like, we had a little gut check, like, come to Jesus moment. I'm good. Like, good to go. And we're just like enjoying our time sitting there. There's live music. Emmy loves
a band transition from the Apres band to the dinner band.
To the dinner band.
Jesus Christ. It's like so stupid.
And Emmy's like losing her mind. She thinks this is like the coolest thing ever. There's music, there's fire. I don't know what this is about my kid that she loves fire, but she does. And
it's true.
She's just like living her best life. This little peanut has no idea about it, how like anything, how good she's got it or anything. And Brian starts dancing with her.
Well, I'm not going to talk right now.
We went from feeling so uncomfortable in the situation, like everybody's staring at us, like everybody knows that my shoes cost $15, and to all of a sudden just not caring and like enjoying our time as a family. And I'm watching my husband like slow dance with our little girl in the middle of a restaurant. We're like, nobody's doing this. You don't dance here. Like,
I'm the only one dancing.
You're the only one dancing, and everybody's looking at you. And
because I don't care what people think. I've been chewed up on the internet for 6 years. I've been called a sellout. I've been called a go F and kill yourself. You're a loser. Then I knew a coach, the haters, their voice is 10 times louder than the people that appreciate you. And of course, I love everybody that appreciates. And I just wanted to help people have a more successful lawn care business. And I'm selling them a $49 fucking contract. And they're securing $12,000 deals. The multiple is 100x on everything we do. And I'm just sitting there like, because I helped 10,000 people in Launchpreneur Academy last year and 13 million views on YouTube and cut fucking 4,000 lawns and installed 300 yards of mulch. And I'm just working my ass off and I'm being able to slow dance in a circle with my daughter. It's the fucking Stein Eriksen, which I don't know who the fuck that is.
You're like, oh, he's a skier? Cool.
I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, you know what, kid? We are here. We earned it. Mm-hmm. We didn't hurt anybody. We don't take anything from anybody. We give. People ripped me apart for 2 years on YouTube, my second and third. Every influencer in the community took a jab. Every one of them. And I just said, I love everybody. I don't care, because we were growing and we were growing so fast because we were working so hard and helping so many people. And we still do the same amount of work. And now everybody's a butt buddy. And I love all my tight friends, the ones that I name drop. And I love everybody else externally because I just don't have any hard feelings.
Animosity.
I just don't live that way. But I'm sitting there dancing in a circle with my daughter while my wife's eating $35 chocolate fondue.
Oh, so remember how we didn't get our fondue?
And it was just, it's worth it. It's worth it. And I'm over there just dancing in a circle with my daughter, crying.
Mm. And Emmy is just loving life.
Everybody there's probably a millionaire sitting around. Everybody was in good spirits. Everybody's just hanging out. They're appreciating the hell out of life. I don't know what that means. They're appreciating things. And everybody's just watching me dance. And I'm like, you know what, kid? I don't care. It's me and you. Mom's over here. She's living her best life, chocolate fondue. But I didn't have my phone on me because I was at the table. And I go, Liz, can you grab a video? And I turn around to say that. And you're balling too. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude.
With my phone out.
Recording. And I'm just like, dude, it's so worth it.
Because it was such a special moment. That was worth the whole trip. That was worth 4 hours with a 17-month-old on a flight. That was worth, seeing a deer get killed.
Dude, the wildest of pictures. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? But it's worth it. And people I'm happy with my business or my life for this. Dude, I'm happy for you. But
it's not that we're materialistic or anything, but there's such a higher place to live. Not
dancing with your little girl at the Motel 6 lobby where there's a dead body in the pool behind it. It just doesn't hit the same. Okay? Renting a Hyundai Sonata, that car costs $19,000, and taking your kid up the side of a mountain in 3 inches of wet slush snow. I'm just going to say an Audi R8 or a Q8, it just drives a little different. You know what I'm saying? And people oh, it's not about the money. Well, if it's not, why do you work so hard? Because you're leaving your kid more than you're providing for them. If money was no option, why do you go trade 50, 80, 100 hours a week for 40, 50 grand?
Again, why are you trading the currency of your time with your child?
Don't get on my case.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to spend any time ever justifying when I spend money or why I build memories with my family, because that's the most important thing. And I'm so glad that we got our business right for the last 5 years. I'm so glad I built a side hustle business that provided a couple extra open door opportunities and made a couple extra bucks. By the way, helping people first, then we profit. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad people are is it worth it to start a lawn and landscaping business? I don't know. Go dance with your little girl at the top of the mountain. Rent a stupid horse sleigh ride. It's $250. You don't have to be a millionaire to rent that, but it's just nice providing these fun, cool opportunities, and these are memories that'll last a lifetime. And then somebody's going to try to criticize that? Dude, get lost. And if you get it, you get it. And we share these stupid stories because when we started the podcast, I said, I don't want to talk about the money we spent or the things we did or the things we rented or what we bought. I said, here's my MO. I'm we have to help these people have a better life. And so we talk about these stories. We share these stories to let you guys know, if you get your business going, if you grow your lawn and landscaping, but you don't have to be $1 million. You don't have to do $1 million in revenue. We did just under 3 bills. We net over 110 on it. You could still do the same trip that we did with the lawn care business outside of our stupid social media crap aside, which we're not making $1 million. No way. No way. But if you just took the profit from your lawn care business, you could afford a trip like this. That's no big deal. We spent, what do you think, maybe $5,000?
Yeah.
With flights, maybe 6, all this other mess. Yeah. But if you just stop negotiating the price of success, you can start having these opportunities. And that's what we did the last 5 years. We went all in. We're still going all in. We are still all in. Because I want to have these and so many more opportunities in the future. But you got to stop negotiating the price of success if you want to start being able to dance with your little girl at 17 months old in a little twirl fashion in front of a live band at the top of some stupid mountain, some stupid city, and some stupid hotel with people that are stupid. These people, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so glad that we did. I'm so glad that we did. I'm so glad. When I was dancing with Emmy, I wasn't thinking about the negative comments. Wasn't thinking about the mean people. Wasn't thinking about the tough days or the customers that chewed me out or the commercial clients that tried to stiff me or the lawsuit this. I was just hanging out.
Thinking about how little her hand felt in yours.
It's worth it.
I can't.
That's all I got, dude. It's worth it. Like, it's worth it now. It was worth it then. It'll be worth it in the future. We're just getting started. I cannot wait to bless this little kid, the kids that come, all of you guys that are listening in. We don't share this story as a brag. It's a stupid $5,000, $6,000 trip. Many of you guys make way more money than us. Mm-hmm. But I'm just letting you guys know it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Just get your company going. Just start paying off your bills, paying off your debt. Just whatever I can do to help. Just, I'll build a resource. I'll build a course. I'll make a free video. I'll make a podcast. We'll talk about it. Whatever. I want you guys to win so bad in 2023. I sincerely care about you guys. Like, our life has been exceedingly blessed because of this community and this industry. And I will continue to just yell from literally the mountaintop that is the best thing you could do with your life is to build a successful company and take care of your family. What else you got, babe?
That's all I got.
We gotta get to dinner.
We do.
My mom's gonna kill me. There's so much stuff that I want to share. Another podcast for another time, but that's what I got. So any which way, thank you, by the way, for all your logistical planning and making these memories come together. Because without you, I would just be chilling at the Motel 6 at Park City with a dead body in the pool. Probably high-fiving Paul Jameson because he's probably at the Red Roof Inn again. You know what I'm saying? Funny story if you guys know Paul. He stayed at a Quip Expo at the Red Roof Inn or something like that his first year because he was cheaping out.
We stayed at a sketch place too.
We did at the Holiday Inn. Which is, I don't know if that's above or minus. We weren't always staying at luxury hotels and all this mess. No way. Anyway, if you guys ever have questions on the trip, I DM Liz. She's been answering her DMs a lot lately, which is really great.
Stop trolling me.
I'm not trolling you, but this is your goal to get back with people in 2023. Because so many of you guys reach out with questions that I just don't know the answers to, like stuff like this. And so Liz answers all those. So shoot me a DM, shoot Liz a DM, whatever we can do to help you guys. If you guys ever want to check out Park City, I think we got the lay of the land this trip big time compared to last year.
I'm sure there's plenty we still haven't discovered.
And if you guys got some fun ideas or places to visit or areas in Utah, Park City, we took a couple recommendations that you guys DM'd me real time. So we super appreciate that. We checked out one of the pizza joints because of that. It was a really, really good time. So anyway, I don't have a thoughtful close. I just want to say thank you guys for listening in. More content coming down the pike, of course, as usual. I'm excited to get back. I'm encouraged. I'm energized. Did I say energized?
You did.
Recharged, energized from Equip, to really start helping you guys. Well, we have been through winter any which way, but continue to help you guys start growing your lawn landscaping business. YouTube channel, about to start ramping up a bunch of videos, as you guys would imagine. Spring Rush is going to be here before you know it, and we're getting our ducks in a row big time. And if you guys want to enjoy a trip like this or whatever you guys want to do, somebody was at a cruise, by the way, DMing me. They were like, on a cruise doing the same thing you're doing, man, giving all glory to God. Just That's blessed. Awesome. They're on a Caribbean cruise, and they said this is what makes it also worth it. So it's not like we're exclusively doing this. I know so many other people are doing it. But if you want to enjoy your winter, work your guts out in your summer. If you want to enjoy your summer, work your guts out in the winter. Mm-hmm. Right? Like set yourself up for success and just keep paying the price, man.
Put your rocks in the jar first.
Yes.
Time with your family.
Time with your family.
And then run as hard as you can between. Like, you don't take a vacation and then just chill out. You take a vacation because you just finished running your guts out.
Yeah, then recharge on the vacation. Yeah. Then when you get back, like we are, you get ready for some explosive growth. I have so many spinning plates and irons in the fire. I have like 9 or 10 things coming down. I'm so excited about 2023. I cannot wait to make so many things available. We're going to rock and roll. Everybody's going to crush it.
It's going to be insane.
We're going to crush it. Y'all are going to crush it. We're going through the mortgage process right now, real time. If you guys want to send a prayer up for a quality appraisal, that'll be good. And it'll praise. Everything's fine. Yeah. we're fine either way. If it doesn't appraise, I don't give a crap.
It'd be really much better if it did.
It'd be much better if it did. But if it didn't, it's fine too. But we're going through the home appraisal process with the new construction build and the land and all that mess. But hopefully by the end of this month, we're already approved for the mortgage. We just got to get the appraisal and then figure out our down payment. But either way, we got the cash for a best case scenario. We got the cash for a worst case scenario. I'd like it to be a better case scenario, obviously. But we should be all wrapped up with that. Fingers crossed by the end of January. But I say this a lot. If you guys are praying people, send a prayer up for us. If you guys don't mind. We always appreciate the love, always appreciate the support. We're raw. We wear emotions on our sleeve. We are transparent as all get out, and we don't have it all figured out. So if you guys want to help us in any way, shape, or form, send up a prayer. That's the best thing you guys can always do for us. After that, buy me a gift card to Cheryl's place. I was kidding. I know, Jay. That's my breakfast place over in Brighton, Michigan. If you know, you know. But anyway, that's what I got. Appreciate you guys listening in, showing love. The podcast is blowing up. We should be at like 95. That's wild. Like, that's an anomaly. So either we're doing really good or you guys are really hungry. Maybe a little bit of both. So I super appreciate the love and support on the podcast lately. So, babe, final thought with you. Say anything?
There's not a thought behind these eyes now.
You just look
so beautiful. Hungry. I'm so pregnant and so hungry.
So hungry, so hangry, so... All right, let's do it. All right, the 3 H's. Hangry, hungry, and that's what we got for today's show. HORN. Remember the sign? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Any which way. You got to end it on that. That's how we do it here.
That's how we're going out.
That's how we're going out.
Great.
So,
I should have thought of something to say.
I'll show you 7. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. It's all in there. There's like 35 Joe Rogan clips that we could do here on the FU clips.
FU clips?
We should totally do an FU
clips.
clips.
Do the FU clips.
I don't know how you would do that because you can't excerpt audio, just put it on YouTube. But there's about 35 FU clips in here. We talked about everything from skiing and dancing and crying to Joe Biden with his Corvette and his documents. We covered all of it on today's show. I think you're good. I think you're good for the next 48 hours.
Coachella raccoon.
The Coachella. That's what we got in today's show. We're at 1 hour 50. This could be our longest show.
Oh, geez. This is almost a 2-hour show.
No shoot, dude. 1 hour, 59 minutes. Well, with the ads, we're at 3 hours.
You're going to have to split this.
No, I'm saying get it. It's 2 hours, but with the ads, we're at 3.
Well, yeah, get them in there. We need to go stay at
Paul said things.
Stein Erickson.
Paul said your things pay more if it's 3 hours long.
I don't think this is what he was referring to.
I think that was his audiobook.
That was the audiobook.
Which you have to listen to on 1.5 speed. So I asked for, I need to say apologies to Paul for that because I'm about to record my audiobook for my book. Good Lord knows how it's going to go. So
you're planning on recording it in my closet.
Don't give all the way out the secrets. That's our podcast studio. We don't kid contractor podcast here.
Yeah, upgrade from the nursery.
All right, that's what I got here. Over and out. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Lawns, landscaping, and outdoor awesomeness, that's what your business does best. Managing your vehicles and optimizing efficiency with the latest technology is what we do best. GPS Track It provides a 24/7 view of where your company vehicles are and how efficiently they're operating, saving you time and money. With more than 12,000 customers, GPS Track It has delivered peace of mind for lawn and landscaping companies for 20 years. Ready to protect your vehicles and save money? Talk with one of our fleet advisors. There's no pressure, no hassles. Call 833-385-0252 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to learn more. Those details are in the show notes. GPS Track It.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.